Thank you for tuning into the SeaBros Fishing Podcast. On this episode, we sit down with Captain Mike Deskin and his good friend, mate, and fellow captain, Danny Young. Mike and Danny are hands down two of the funniest humans that we have ever met. They're both also insanely experienced fishermen. Mike has been fishing for giant bluefin tuna and canyon fishing since the 1980s. He started off in small center console boats, has worked his way up to big down east boats. He's chased bluefin from Cape Cod to North Carolina and beyond. Mike currently owns and operates Destiny, which is a 38-foot northern bay, sailing out of Groton, Connecticut. And Danny has decades of fishing experience as well. He and Mike have put together quite the program aboard the Destiny, and they are consistent producers from the Northeast Canyons to Maine. In this conversation, Mike and Danny tell their origin story. We share our opinions on tuna behavior from area to area. We discuss green stick fishing and tell a ton of fish stories. Mike and Danny are both a wealth of knowledge and entertainment, and it was a pleasure to have them on the podcast. We hope you enjoy this episode as much as we did. Without further ado, please welcome Captain Mike Deskin and Captain Danny Young. Welcome to the SeaBros Fishing Podcast, where we follow 3 words of wisdom. You can't catch them if you don't have a hook in the water. Always trust your instincts. And the last, you'll just have to keep listening. Stay tight.
Look around. Yep, that's the one. That's the real one. Oh. Get up there, man. All right, get back down. All right, down real good. Oh, doubled up. We doubled up. All right. Am I coming off or what? Get that down. Don't get on that rock.
168 inches, yeah. That's when I go with my boat.
Look how tall those are.
Yeah.
Where's that, out west?
Yeah, it's
Jumbo.
Illinois, man.
Yeah, corn-fed.
Corn-fed.
Cornbread chicken.
I am so pumped to have you guys here.
Dude, we're happy to be here.
You are going to have to, at some point in this conversation, retell the eel and the hair story.
Oh, my wife.
I was fucking dying.
That was our first fishing date. Got the eel. Not a little eel, like a bomber.
Alabama black snake.
Yeah, big black snake. Wrapped up
Make sure this is set up right.
Yeah.
down here.
Oh my God,
Like,
she
had
must
to
have
cut
lost.
had to cut the head.
She must have lost her mind.
No, she was pretty calm because she was freaking out. She was freaking out, but she knows she can't move.
Yeah, that slime is like
Just slide it a
that
little
slime is
closer if you
like
can, Mike. Just a little bit. I know you're a big dude, but
product. That's like hair product too.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. You know the coat it leaves on your skin.
oh yeah.
Like,
No, she wasn't too happy about that.
That's funny. I'm just getting that squared away here, but we're pretty.
How was the drive?
Fine.
Piece of
Perfect
cake.
time.
I feel like Friday mornings are never that bad.
Last week when I came to Providence for the show, I was coming in the afternoon like 3:34, and it was jammed up. It was 2-3 miles by 295, whatever that road is. Pretty bad, but
I feel like Providence is the worst.
yeah.
It really is. Horrible.
I'm going to tell you a story about my first. Are we rolling?
Go for it, man.
I was going to say
This is all about story time and tangents.
Yes.
You're not going to learn no new knots and shit. I'll tell you that. I mean, it's like chopping wood with the smallies. We do our thing, fucking, so. But I defer to.
No, I was thinking Providence, and I told the story 1,000 times. My first ever giant tuna trip at the age of 13 with these guys who were like into some bad things, And I get invited because my first girlfriend's father said he loves fishing, take him with you, this and that and the other thing. 22-foot Aquasport CCP named the Beaver Patrol.
Oh my God.
The beaver on the side of the boat.
That might be the name of this podcast today.
The beaver on the side of the
Patrol.
boat with the binoculars like this.
Yeah.
That's the picture of the boat.
Yeah.
So
Little flag
we're
poles.
going. You know the curves in Providence by the bug there, the mosquito on the side of the road.
Yeah.
It gets kind of
Yep.
squirrely there.
Yep.
Everyone crashes.
So we come around the corner in this guy's truck. He's got bunks in the back, sleeping arrangements, coolers, and come around the corner there at Thurber's Ave, I think it was, and I look out the window and the boat is on the trailer going by us on the side of the road. I see the Beaver Patrol. I'm like, I said, the boat's not on the back of the truck. The guy's like, what are you talking about? I said, dude, here it goes. It goes over the rail, hits the railing at like 50, 60 miles an hour, goes down the hill behind like the pink stripper bar there. And there was nothing wrong with the boat. The boat never got touched, but the trailer was totally the tires were like ripped, all 4 tires like this way, hanging off the trailer.
Imagine being a homeless guy, like, right about to finally fucking fall asleep and have a fucking see a beaver coming by and
Aqua sport
explode.
firing
Holy
at you.
shit, Beaver Patrol.
Only in Providence.
Holy shit.
The guy took me, and I fished in little boats and stuff, little whalers, and growing up. But he takes me, and he's got a fighting chair in the bow. In Block Island days, that was standard procedure. Sea crafts, aqua sports, 21, anything 21 foot with a chair in the bow, and these guys were in it. This is right after, pretty much after handline. Handlines were still going on at the time, but
Black beauties and all that sort of thing.
yeah. So it was wild, man. So I they park in the parking lot over by Point Judith, and they leave me there. Another guy drove a truck up, and they got to get the boat taken off by a wrecker, put on a brand new trailer the guy buys, and we go to Point Judith. Now we get there, like say it's 3 hours late, but it's in the afternoon. We're gonna fish the next day, and they just leave me there. I'm 13 years old. They go boozing, go into town and get all liquored up, and they leave me. And I tell old Everett this story recently about the Murray brothers being there, and I remember milk being brought on the boat, and I always looked up to those guys. That was the kind of king of the hill when I first started,
Yeah.
And I just watched them. I'm like, everybody's, bites are happening here and there, but they would just pour the milk, put a piece of bait in it, and off they went.
So milk. They're using milk in the slick?
Cloud in the slick, yeah.
Really?
Hiding the gear.
What's that?
Hiding the gear.
Yeah, I was a 13-year-old kid, so I didn't know, I knew that they were good,
Interesting.
and I'd read about them, and so I just watched them all day. I wasn't even paying attention to our shit,
Yeah.
I was checking out what they were doing.
Yep.
And
That's
the
weird.
guys that
That's
I
the
was
first I've
with,
heard of that.
the guys that I was with just got on the boat. We put some bait. We caught a fish.
Yeah.
We just put some bait out, and they went to sleep. They were on the floor of the 22-foot. This guy
Was that like 400 tar line?
Gary Godone. His name was Gary Godone. He was like, he had to be 300 something pounds. Big guy, liked to party, and so we hooked up that day. The guy put the guy in the chair, and off we went. It's my first experience with that. More funny about the boat going over the
No
side
shit.
of the highway.
Holy fuck, that's funny.
That was classic.
So 13. So you've been doing this a while then.
No, well,
your phone, you know that, right?
Jeez, I don't even know him.
all good.
Where is it?
You're good.
Cut.
So
We've had everything
Fucking Mike
imagined.
again. It's going to happen fucking 9 more times.
no, it's not. It's gonna.
It happened at Soup's wedding.
Oh, geez, in the middle of
We're in the middle of a fucking beautiful
In the middle of the ceremony. Oh my god, that's
Me
amazing.
and Betts, fucking Jack, the cave, you were there, fucking. And you're like, he doesn't even know it's him for the first ring. I knew. I'm like, fuck it. I love it. The second time, he's like,
big Italian wedding,
How about OG ripping a huge fart?
Yeah,
No way.
the rehearsal when my wife and I got married, it was like second run through, third run through.
Yeah.
And we're all
Everybody's
everyone's buzzed, And my wife's like, all right, just one more time. Everyone needs to take this seriously.
Yeah.
She says the word seriously, and you could hear a fucking pin drop. And my dad just like,
Dude, we were all
Your father did that?
yeah, it was the most
crying, laughing.
before, not during the wedding, but the day before getting ready.
Yeah.
type of
Holy
guy right
shit,
there.
we had tears. We couldn't control ourselves.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
So 13 years old, you started Giant Tuna.
Yeah, well,
Hand line.
No, they weren't hand lining.
Okay.
Penn 80s.
Yep.
All right. That's
With
what I was
old-
wondering if the milk was like
No, the milk. Those guys.
400 tar line.
It was all chumming, but it was just a transition from, big heavy steel leaders with big hooks.
Yep.
To guys still hand lining and then monofilament being introduced, but no leaders, no swivels, no.
Just straight mon out of the hook.
Usually on an 80 they would might fish 200 because it's shallow water there, and they had them in the bow of the boat. So once you got going with it, they let them pull you around for a little bit and then
Yeah.
send to put the thing up. But that was my first time. I was totally addicted, except for the fact that I played hockey during that. So I still fish, but I didn't really do giant fishing again probably till getting my own boat at like in my early 20s.
Yeah.
And then I got back into it with a little 21 footer.
Yep.
And that was fishing up in Ipswich Bay and Cape Cod Bay sometimes in the little boat. And that was a great story. We caught one about 6 miles off the beach, towed us all the way to Cranes Beach, and I'm shaking, it's my first harpoon shot. I got the harpoon in my hand, and my legs like going like this. The fish is on top, and I'm looking over, and there's like 15 young kids, like 10 to 15 years old, swimming on the beach at Cranes Beach, and mothers are coming in for the little kids to get them out of the water. I'm standing on the bow of the boat, like
getting ready to stick a fish.
8 foot long aluminum shaft, the old ones.
Dude, that's Hemingway shit right there.
And it was on top.
Yeah.
The 8-0 hook, like here in his lip. He just told me wherever he wanted to go. Now he's only in 15 feet of water. He's got nowhere to go. And I said, fuck it. I launched it like this, and it came down right in his back, stood up, and it was like a periscope sticking out. And that thing screamed down the beach for like maybe a half a mile before I got him back on got the line in and kind of secured him. And I had an Everall. I'll never forget. I had an old, it sounded like a coffee grinder when it would go.
Yeah, those ones that have like the little spring clip.
Spring clip, and
adjust the drag.
The drags all the way around the side, which were, it was kind of I would say a spin-off of like a Finor idea.
It was like a hybrid between a Senator and a Finor.
Finor, yeah. And it was a loud reel. I think it was an 11-0.
Yeah.
200 straight to the hook. That was Chinkai green. Wow. And then we switched to the Momoy later years, but that Gulf of Maine green, they called it.
Huh.
And that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So you primarily fished north of the Cape at that point in time?
Yeah, by the time I ended up with a guy up in Newburyport, became like very close with a lot of people in that town. It was like, they kind of took me under the wing. We were sleeping in the parking lots, and I mean, I had people there, like some, the cast of characters that came up to fish with me over the years was like, everybody became friends. We still snowmobile, a lot of those guys, and good fishermen. So I started up there with my little boat. Well, actually, I take that back. I started in Marshfield in Green Harbor.
Yep.
And I came back in. I had a 700-pounder, and I brought it back in, and I never got paid for the fish. We were talking about this on the way up.
What's it that what rock is over there? That's where we went to levitate with
Brant
Rock.
Who was that buyer that like kind of screwed over a bunch of guys?
Oh, jeez, I know.
I think there was a handful.
I wonder if that was
It wasn't Dennis Gore.
Oh no.
That was kind of a problem with Rainbow Connection years ago. But he kind of he got straight again. He bought a bunch of fish down south, and but the it was
get paid for the fish.
It was a guy from Jersey. It was a guy who was buying the fish on a truck, and I came in like the thing's folded up in half. And I take that back. That was the one I caught in Newburyport. But I towed it in by the head, and the guy pulls it up, takes I had a federal permit, takes the federal permit number, and that was it. Boom, gone.
Wow.
Never saw him again. No. And then the next time I came in, the reason I went over to kind of fish up a little bit above, the fishing was a little, the kettles and all that spot were decent fishing, was it came back in and like 3 trailers in the parking lot in Green Harbor, all the tires were gone. They just left them there. Like they jacked the trailers up, took the tires off. Like someone must have had it in for a couple of the guys, and they showed them it was, these are dual axle trailers and stuff, big 25 to 30.
Imagine coming back.
Three of them. I'm like, I think I'm going to go a little further north.
A little message from the nautical Cosa Nostra.
Yeah. That was So, and then once I settled in Newburyport, it was like the guy that owned the place. It was Hilton's dock. Was called Richie Toomey, Joey Jansen, which was a harpooner, and a bunch of my buddies that I met up there. That place, the guy that owned it, George Hilton, said, "Listen, Mike, you got a camper?" I said, "My dad has a camper." So he goes, "See that spot over there next to this beautiful?" It was in between 2 of the best restaurants in Newburyport, Michael's Harborside and the Black Cow at the time. And he says, "Put it over there, right against this stone wall. There's a plug-in for the thing, and you could stay there this summer."
Wow!
So it was like
times have changed, huh?
It was mayhem. And we traveled a lot back then. You would travel with the boat. It was nothing to go from Green Harbor to Portland and fish up there for 2 days and then go back down. But I had to. My deal was I couldn't, like the guys that were fishing. In the 90s, it became more prevalent for these guys to actually earn 60 to 80 grand, 100,000 in the summer tuna fishing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of when things got, I think, started getting a lot more popular. But, you know, we'd go back and forth. You know, we'd have to get a call down here and get in the truck. But eventually I had to go to work. You know, it's like I had kids and a job, and I would have loved to kind of live that total lifestyle.
Yeah.
But I felt like I got the best of both worlds, you know.
For sure.
I'd be going, the guys would let me keep the boat, Cape quality tuna in the Cape, my little center console, and then, you know, and then once we got the little down east boat, we thought
The 30 Calvin, right?
we could go anywhere.
That's when I learned about you, was when you had that boat.
That boat.
I've looked at pictures of that boat thousands and thousands of times.
Is that right?
I was zooming in, looking at like how
boat's
you
sick.
had shit rigged. One thing, I mean, you can speak to it obviously, but your boats just seem so fucking dialed.
Yeah.
You know, your Northern Bay, that Calvin Beal, just everything has its purpose.
There's a spot for everything.
There really is. Just so well organized.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks a lot to, you know, success in fishing in general, but I'm sure your success as well.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's funny because whoever comes on the boat and fishes with me, we always have like the best time. It's like there's never any real pressure to catch. We just naturally have a good time. But we put an effort, and I think the process is always like whoever fishes with me is like all the kids that have graduated. It's like an honor for me to say these guys fished with me before and kind of do everything similar, you know, that keep it together, you know, just know what you have to do every day. And the boats are kind of, it's funny because the first boat I got pretty raw out of Jersey, and I could just see what I could do with it. You know, I kind of measured a few things up. I put the second station in, put a hauler in. You know, I didn't have a lot of fish box room in that boat, so it wasn't like a canyon killer. But if you didn't think I didn't want to have a green stick on it, you're crazy. Because I did. Yeah. I mean, when that came along and I saw that had me day one. It become more fun for me than catching a bluefin, believe it or not. If you could imagine that.
So did you guys meet when you had the Calvin, or were you fishing together in the little boat?
I knew
before?
his brother owned a tackle shop in Connecticut.
Probably mid-'90s.
Early 90s.
Yeah, and I just had a little boat. I was doing a gig with the government, but I had a little 17-footer I kept in Greenhaven Marina down the Pawcatuck.
Yeah.
And I was fucking addicted.
Yeah.
You know, striper. I'd go out there on Fridays. My buddy owned a campground. I'd go out, you know, Katoom Rocks, striper fish all night, spearfish during the day. And my brother had a tackle shop, and that's where I met him. And I was always intrigued because he was you know, my brother wouldn't leave the shop open for anybody, but he'd leave the shop. He's like, he has full fucking reign, like, you know, to get whatever he needs at whatever time.
Yeah.
And, you know, I knew he was a hockey guy. And, but yeah, and then it kind of intersected like that. And I was killing some, had a good little spurt with Dave there, you know, on the Cape that year.
Oh, yeah.
Killing giants.
Is that when you guys are fishing bluefish?
We were fishing herring. We were getting them on herring down there. And,
I remember seeing some.
And your boat went down.
Oh, yeah.
And I met Mike, and, you know, of course, you know, he's, you know, you get an invite on the boat, and, you know, I'm ready. And
You never left. You only left for a better opportunity. That's the only, he was with me it was fun. We had some amazing fun trips.
I mean, I got radicalized, if you will, when I went on a trip with de Blasio and Blue Runner. His mate Jared got a spearfish or something in the knee down there
Bahamas.
Near Margaret, wherever they were.
Bahamas.
And we talked, and I was going down. He's like, you know, come on down. I was going to go down anyway, but so now I'm like, it's just me and Mark, and he wants to troll 10 knots back to Manasquan, like. It's just like, you know, like start pumping Eminem and shit. Is this my time? Like, fucking go. You know, like, I'm not stupid. You know, I'm like fucking watching everything this guy does. You know, not to mention he's a fucking great guy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I took time off of my job and did that. You know, it was like 7-8 days, whatever. And that's when it was like, you know, there's no way I can survive on land. Like, I need... You know, it's just that
Yep.
hits the vein and fucking you're fucked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
You know? And then, and
I didn't care.
Yeah, and Mike, I mean, we went on a trip together, fucking, it's like Dumb and Dumber, when they meet and.
You licked the pole, though. I didn't lick the pole.
Yeah. Listen, you don't want to start fucking looking at us there. We just had, that's the thing about it, though, right? Like, you can go anywhere up and down the coast, from the Bahamas to, this guy can go to a town in Maine, Bay of Fundy, and fucking knows the guy at the bait shop.
Plug right in.
Yeah, and it's that's that whole camaraderie and the relationships,
Yeah.
And then, we just had fun. I was always scared to fail at anything. So if I'm going to do something, I want to do it the
best that you can.
I'm not going to fucking I'm one of them stubborn guys.
I'll tell you how stubborn he is. We were down in the Cheese. I'll never forget this. I laughed. When I say I laughed hard, I was laughing so much I was going to throw up.
It wasn't when I quit then.
No, you didn't quit. You quit another day. But we got a fish on in the back, right? We got a fish on. I might have 2 on. I don't know. We had 1 on at least. And I forget who else was with us. But I look out the back, and I see projectile vomiting. I look out the window. Like, I look out. I look out like this to look back because the fish is on the corner over here. I do look like this. All I see is like 6 feet of projectile coming out the side of the boat, and he's going for the reel, he's throwing this up this way, the reel's over here, and he's on it, and he's sick. I mean, he was,
dude.
He was gray,
the sickest.
like the color of your hat.
It was the sickest, like I was listening to a podcast with Damon.
Yeah.
That whiteness.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So.
Next level seasick.
I'm driving back and forth to the Cheese,
And I'm
looking in the
cracking up
Prius
the
and
whole
shit.
time, by the way.
Mike's picking weather windows, picking him up at the airport, whatever. Meet this guy down there. I'm just staying down there. Anyway, I come down and I'm fighting some nasty bronchitis. I have a big thing of antibiotics, And then I had a friend, a nurse friend, who's like, because I also brought some Dramamine because I know how it gets out there.
Yeah.
Give a fuck. I'd rather be a little tired and, hillbilly highball with a few Celsius and even it out. So I get down there. I have the bottle of antibiotics. I have the bottle of the anti-nausea medicine. It's supposed to be great. It's from a hospital, from a nurse. I mean, it must be better than Dramamine, So typical fucking Outer Banks weather, wherever we go out
Nasty,
there,
it's nasty.
fucking nasty. I'm fucking feeling like shit. I took a couple Dramamine. I'm like driving. I go, let me try these anti-nausea pills. I take a couple of those. I mixed them up. The anti-nausea pills I was popping was the antibiotics.
Oh,
dude,
my God.
I fucking was in 10-footers in fog fighting tuna.
Are you allowed to swear?
Oh yeah.
Shooting like from the fucking heels, out my ear. So sick. But no fucking way am I not. I know that I gathered the dart line together at one point, and it took all. And all I can see is like this sucker out the fucking window videotaping me. It's like there's nothing I can do, like ever. I'm like, fucking.
There's nowhere you can hide.
No, I'm just like, here it is.
Yeah, I'm dying. I mean, I'm laughing.
We get back there, they're filming Wicked Tuna, fucking, TJ's there with their new dogs and shit, film crew. Oh, you should have seen this guy getting sick all over the place. He's like, really? I'm like, fucking fuck you, man. Listen, there was antibiotics, like I have to qualify myself. Fuck it, I
don't think we knew it was antibiotics at that point, though.
No, until
you were just sick. So I thought you were just sick.
I've gotten sick before. Everybody fucking's gotten sick at one point. Like, I get sick in the dark, rigging shit. I would get sick,
Yep.
So that's why I rig shit before I go.
Yeah.
If not, whatever,
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and it's come, it's far and few between now, though. Right. On Smalley's little boat there, I have lost some fluids on that.
Did you?
So, it's fucking, but yeah, so
that is amazing.
Yeah, that'll straighten you out. And so, So then we go back. He's like, we're turning and burning. I'm like, fuck you. Fucking, I'm going home. I'm like, that. I think I'm dying. Like, dude, I've never gotten sick for 6 hours. I had nothing. I was just going like, and you know, he's loving it. They're all laughing, fucking smoke. Look at him, fucking.
We
but
tortured him.
Holy shit.
But,
I
yeah.
know that feeling.
Well, then the Outer Banks, you know, me and Mike.
I went down there for the first time last winter. I only fished, I think fished one day.
For how many days were you there?
I was there for 3 days. We had one day to fish. You guys
half hour
got
to
one
get
first
tight.
thing. You were on Salt Shaker, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I was on Joey Dion's boat with Weber. It was just the three of us.
What boat is that? Dion?
Thunder. It's like forgive me, Joey, for not knowing the hull type, but it's like an old Merritt-looking boat, 40-foot range, single screw.
Is he from North Carolina?
No, he's from Green Harbor. He was a harpooner out of Green Harbor. He fished with Mike Miller Hacker for a while.
Oh,
His
the
boat
red
was
boat.
Lightning. Yep.
Yep, I
And
remember
he had
that.
a 32. Joey had a 32 Holland of his own that he fished for a few years, and him and Jeff were kind of fishing side by side. Weber.
Yeah.
But Joey had some work done down at
Spencer's?
either that or Bayless, I believe.
Bayless? Yep. Bless you.
And
Bless you.
and the boat was down there. And we were like, oh, let's try to squeak a trip in. We had one bite. We had one short strike. Didn't get the hook on the fish, but
Yeah.
we saw you guys had one wrapped up like before sunrise.
That boat-
That place is fucking crazy.
It's unbelievable.
It's like a hybrid between like some of the places and like marina wise. It's like a hybrid between like PEI and the Cape and Florida. It's its
as far as
own
being
little-
where you were docked?
yeah, as far as where you're docked, just like how it looks.
Yeah.
We're Wanchi.
Yeah,
a
Wanchi.
little bit of Bridgeport in there
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
It's the last of Americana.
Yeah.
In my eyes. You know,
Yeah.
like you don't find too many places that, you know, you're driving into town, there's horses walking down the street. That's kind of a, like, you know, situation.
Breakfast for under $10.
Yeah.
You know,
People are
friendly.
just beautiful people.
They
down
are
there.
awesome people.
Yeah.
And you know, like you go to Tavernier, Florida, just that, or the Everglades City, where the people are, you know, it's still,
Yeah.
it's like 30
Yeah,
years.
that's a
They're
good-
30 years, like,
That's a good comparison too. Everglades
Yeah.
City, yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you fished Wanchis? Out of
Or
Wanchis.
North Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina.
North Carolina, probably since I'd say maybe mid 2000, 2004, 3,
Wow.
4.
Wow.
Morehead City, both were back then, and then I fished with a good buddy for a couple years there, and then Wanchis and Beaufort, you know, probably all the way through. Wanchis more in the past 8 or 10 years, you know. I just put a picture on social media, which as you know, I might do 7, 8 a year. Most of them are my grandson.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But of Chucky Midget's boat the other day, the Tiffany, which he was the first guy on the East Coast to bring the green stick, you know, the Etheridges and the Midgets and right there in Wanchis. And then the people came up the coast with it. I want to say Frank Braddock might have been the first guy in the Northeast, which is Donnie Braddock's father, who runs the Hurry Up out of Montauk. Really nice guy. I see him on the water quite a bit. It's funny, you see a lot of people on the water, but you never get a chance to run into them in town or anything like that, you know?
Yeah.
But
That place is but it's the people that make that place too. I mean,
it's
the
100%,
fishing,
100%.
But I mean, like Brian and his wife, they open their house.
And a
You
lot
know,
of-
you
there's
meet
some-
them,
there's
come
some-
down
there's some-
anytime.
there's a fair
play
amount of
cards with
transplants
them.
there.
I mean, anything you know, they're my type of people.
Yeah. Totally.
You know, the guys
100%.
from the fish house. I went a long line and.
yeah, he spent some
Sharon
time
G.
on the with sushi.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you know, one of these guys was, you know, hitchhiking to work. I'm like, dude, the Prius is right there. Fucking, I have no idea if it's insured or registered. I think so. Fucking have at it. You know, I'm waiting for something to happen to that guy. You know, he's like so grateful I go back. He's, you know, cooler full of fucking shrimp and, you know, just that courtesy. You know, you meet great people. Sushi.
Totally.
I mean, all those people down there are
Talk about a fishy guy. That guy.
sushi.
So
Who's
Danny
sushi?
calls me up and says, "We got an opportunity. You know, I have an opportunity, really. As far as finances, as far as taking care of the boat. But you know, he's like, you got to buy this boat. We got to go." He went longlining with him, and this boat used to be Archie's boat back in the day. It was Archie Jost's.
Yeah.
It was his boat. I talked to Archie about it. It's a really, really good sea boat, but this boat had more holes in it. Like I'm saying, like I was like this. And then I went in the engine room without talking out of school, but we went down the engine room and there was, I thought it looked like the oil, they were getting the oil for the engine off the bilge. there had to be 10 gallons of oil floating.
Oh,
shit.
And then
Well, it was a good deal.
And the wiring, the wiring. Remember I went in and Sushi was sleeping on the floor?
Dude, you're up to tell me. That thing caught on fire. I was fucking 60 miles out. I thought I didn't know what was going on.
We caught on fire last year, 2 years ago, there on the point in Wanchese.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, the microwave lit up something.
Your boat?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm running along.
We
It's
killed
just-
2 fucking smoker big eyes, like 74.
Was that they?
76 inches.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, they were
Twins.
at the same
Beautiful
time.
big eyes, yeah.
Yeah.
So on the stick, on the rod. I don't remember.
No,
I think they were on the rod.
Joe
They were both
shoots.
on-
Bubbled up.
So I'm running the boat and I smell, obviously fire is a big thing, biggest thing on the boat. But I smell something burning and I'm like, I thought the guys turned the microwave on. I always keep the bread and the rolls in there and the microwave, keep them potato chip, whatever's in there.
Yeah.
So I got the fire extinguisher before I open anything up, thinking if I open something up, it gets air and it blows out at me. I better have something.
Yeah.
I grab the fire extinguisher off the wall. I open it up, and the plug behind the microwave. The guy, I'd never been back there, so the guy had a plug back there, but he ran a extension cord to the plug,
okay.
running would split off and ran the microwave and refrigerator, for instance. So, but I had never seen that end of it where it was plugged in. So it didn't have a trip on it. It didn't have the, whatever the buttons are you call them. The
Breaker.
GFI, yeah.
GFIs, yeah.
And I think, so I opened it up and the fire came right through the side of the microwave and I got to it right away. And, the fire extinguisher makes quite a mess if you ever pull one off. But so I kind of lost my, luckily we had a couple I lost my heart. I'm like, you know what? I'm going in. I take care of that kind of stuff immediate. You know what I mean? If you're only 40 miles and you can go in and get stuff fixed and cleaned up, I'd rather do that than worry about something. So,
What are some other scary experiences you guys have had?
well, you've probably been with me for a couple.
Yeah. I was just pretending I wasn't
I
scared.
think
to
George,
keep it confident.
Yeah.
George's Banks, the inlet at Wanchese, I navigated without any issue. It was a scary day because I was behind 3 boats that blew their windows out.
Wow.
And I decided to make I'm with Nick and Blake at the time. You weren't with me yet, and that's one time I felt the ass pucker,
Yeah.
I was, the No Limit, John had an issue. He went through, I think 3 of his 4 windows got blown out. And credit to John. John went back brought the BHM back into, I think.
That's that blue 32, right?
No, it was a black.
Black.
Black,
Yeah.
Yeah. He brought it back into Spencer's and they put
That no limits.
the old No Limit. He's got a Young's Brothers now. He's got Bobo's old boat. But anyway, he goes back into Spencer's and they put plywood over the 3 windows he blew out. And he comes back out.
Goes back out.
Later
What
in the
a
day.
savage.
Yeah. I'll never forget that. That's pretty cool. And so
Teach that sandbar a lesson.
Yeah, exactly.
So now I decide, I when you see a line there, you're talking about probably the roughest inlet. You take Florida or take somewhere like that where you've been out of, or the Merrimack and Newburyport, and then you multiply it times 4 or 5 because the distance you have to travel. So it's the fact that it's bad, but it's also shallow there, and you don't really have a bailout, and you can't bail out in the middle. Because you'll get rolled if you try to
a
turn
whole
around.
bunch of waves and not just 1 or 2 to get over it.
So I pick a line. It was like, okay, I'm going. And I had sweat in my hands. I gave it, luckily you have to have a boat to really respond. So you go from point A to point B. And then I just picked it. And as I was going on and off the throttle, up the wave, down the wave, over here. And I got across the bar. I don't think we had a drop of water in the winch, I swear to God. Nick or Blake will tell you. But get across the bar, I go, maybe a quarter mile, I get no steering.
Oh my
blow
God.
hose.
Hydro's
I
right
blow
up.
hose.
You're lucky.
Oh,
Now,
fuck.
Imagine if that happened
always
while you're
cross
in
that
there.
bar. I always cross those bars with an anchor in the, and I got a long yellow line clipped onto the cleat like you would for anchoring up tuna fishing, and I have a clip on it, and for that purpose. Never happened to me there before, but I always had it ready, and I was fortunate to get the before I got blown back on the bar, get the anchor out, and I sat there. So Dave, who you've had on the show, Tuna.com, Tyler, and I forget who else was behind me at that point, but those two guys were there, and we ended up getting hung up that was probably early in the morning. We were there till 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and it took us 2 hours to find the leak, and we had a chase between the second station down to a bulkhead fitting in a long run and a chase under the deck, 2 bulkheads going to the lazarette, and inside I'm like looking in the bilge. There's no hydraulic fluid. There's nothing over the side, over the rainbows, nothing, nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I think Tyler might have been out, and he brought me a bucket. I think he was across the bar. He brought me a bucket of hydraulic fluid. Thanks, Tyler. And I dumped that in, and I tried to go a little bit further, and I lost it again. So I anchored back up again. That's what happened. And then Dave went back in and ended up getting me
So you're like 10 minutes difference from a bucket of hydro fluid or burying that boat in the bar. That's reality.
Yeah,
that
reality
place is nasty, man.
Yeah. So there, I think George's Banks, 5.5 hours, heading 270 degrees west, and I never went west 1 degree. That was.
Wow.
That was.
Wait, what? Say that again.
Coming home from George's Banks.
Okay.
Spurgeon and I were out there, and he said he's going to tie. He anchored up on top of the bank. I mean, it just started whistling like in the middle, and I'm like, you know what?
Bet he wasn't in his full-size king bed that night.
Yes, he was definitely probably watching a basketball game. But.
Spurgeon's.
So I said, I got to go. I got to go to work. I got what I need. I'm going to try to get home because I didn't want to sit. I knew I probably shouldn't have, but I did. And I got halfway down the bank, maybe halfway to the cultivator, and it was, I hate to exaggerate, but it was all a 10, 12 foot, with white water coming off the top of it, waves coming off, just blowing fog, gray fog, just the worst conditions you could ever imagine. And for 5, all you're doing is I'm looking at my boat, sitting there at the same spot, stemming the tide 5.5 hours, with crashing in the back of the boat, going up the face of waves, backing off the throttle, down the face, back up the other one. Never put the autopilot on, and that went on for a pretty long time.
Jesus
Were you
Christ.
concerned with fuel at all? Or
No, I always had. I mean, I'd go to the bank and
Come
whatever.
on, Montauk.
I never burned more than 270, 275.
How many gallons do you have on that boat?
450.
Okay.
Yeah, I never had an issue with fuel. In the wintertime?
Yeah, with soup, soup.
And Little Dave.
Little Dave, yeah. That was pretty gnarly.
Yeah, so I always run the boat till there's no rocks in the way. And once the rocks are out of the way, I usually give it up to one of the guys. And, so I go down to my bunk on the left-hand side. We're going tuna fishing in like December.
We're
going giant fishing off of Block Island. It was December. It was cold.
Is this that Hudson bite?
No, we were going 30 miles.
Gotcha,
We're going local. So, I gave up the wheel like Southwest Ledge on the west side of Block, and I don't know, it was 15 or 20 miles later, I just felt the boat like raising and dropping, and like the boat would do anything in a violent sea, but the way that I could tell it was, we're wallowing inside of some shit,
Yeah.
and we're jogging along at 12 knots maybe, and I'm like, let me just check. Dave's got his feet up on the dashboard, like, all cozy, just sitting there, just going along.
He loved messing with all the electronics.
Yeah, he
time too. Show off like that, I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah, he's an electronics nerd for sure.
Yeah, he's great.
So I look out. I come up the hatch. I come up the middle of the wheelhouse. I look out the window and I'm like, I look over and it's fucking nasty. I mean, it is fucking nasty, and just
I was standing
stacked together, 8, 6,
I remember
8.
Soup was just fucking bundled up. He looked like a big poly.
Soup said that. Soup
Soup's
asked me.
eyeballs were like this, and I'm playing. I'm like, Mike, this boat isn't even fucking breathing heavy, Inside, I'm like, holy fuck. Okay, where's the survival? I know where the survival suits are.
Yeah.
Mike, this ain't shit.
Yeah, he's trying to give me the.
doing my best.
like
Mark
the
Wahlberg,
it's like the
trying
angel
to
and the
pump up
devil,
fucking
the angel
George
and the
Clooney. You know what I mean? Fucking trying to make him feel good. But I already had like 9 escape routes fucking hatched in my head already. But I'm like, this is sketchy.
I it was one of those deals where
like, this dude's sleeping still. I'm like, fucking, let's go.
Sue said to me as we're driving, he looks over at me. He was pretty pale. And he's in the seat and he's like, Captain, are we going to make it? I said, don't worry. Well,
Yeah, we're joking around.
So I had to go on the lead. It was northeast. I don't know what was blowing. It was blowing enough to make it that shitty. And we go into Old Harbor and Block Island. And I kissed the dock. I don't kiss the dock too often. I kissed the dock and I'm sitting there with Nova Blue and the guys on the longliners there, Greg and Perry. Yeah. And I think Mike Hamilton's there. And I'm like, dude. You seen the picture of their boat when they went out there? Are they coming back in from Long Island into Block Island during that storm?
Yeah, when they brought those
people
back.
Yeah, no, on the Nova Blue, the big longliner.
I don't know if I've seen that.
Oh, you got to see that.
Like a
It's
wedding party that got
Yeah.
stranded, so the ferries weren't running. So they're like, yes, whatever. Who can get us off the island? Craig's like, fucking,
we'll
let's
take
go.
it. The longliner.
way.
Yeah, and the old Novi. But
It was
so I kissed the ground there, and the dock, and I'm like, there's no fucking way that it's going to be that bad on that side of the island. You're getting a little bit of the lee of the Point Jude, Point Jude and everything once you get to a little bit to the west. But I had a tough time keeping it out of the rocks on the North Reef at Block Island. Jesus. And remember, your buddy was in the Soundbound.
Yeah,
He calls the boat. He goes, "What the fuck are you guys doing out here?" Like it was. He was on the anchor blackfishing inshore a little bit, but
Yeah, Brendan, he goes on the radio. He goes, how fast are you guys showing on your screen? He goes, it looks like it's 7.5 knots. He's like, you're going backwards. I'm like, fucking oof. It's as bad as I thought. I'm not a pussy. That's what I thought.
yeah, Newburyport. I almost got killed there one year in my small boat. It's a funny story because we're in there and. We always got up pretty early. 2:33, we'd sneak out, set our nets, kind of prepare for it. It was like back then. It was, you were lucky if you marked 3 or 4 fish a day, and so you wanted to have everything prepared for.
Setting herring nets for a shot.
Herring nets, yeah. That's why I kind of designed that little boat. I had a huge live well on the deck, and I had it aerated, so it was pretty cool. And then, so we roll out of there, and. It's like 4:30 in the morning. There's this big party boat, the Yellowbird. Ricky used to run it. This guy, Ricky LaPierre was his name. And I said, I'm going. It was so nasty at the mouth of the river. East wind, outgoing tide there. It's just like, a lot of people have been killed there. I don't know, probably not as many as Oregon Inlet, but I've seen a lot of boats on the jetty there, people making the wrong moves. But I got out. Like I came in, as soon as we got around the North Jetty, I was like literally from here to your garage off the back of his boat, like hugging him to try to, because these waves are just like this, they're up and down and they're steep and you blast your windshield out there, if you're not careful. So I decided I'm like, oh, fuck this. Now I got a guy behind me in a Hydrosport, like a 27 or 28 Hydrosport who's coming in behind me trying to follow me out to the fishing grounds, that buddy of mine. I called him on the radio, I said, Rich, I'm coming around. He goes, what? He goes, what do you mean you're coming around? I said, I went up the face of the next wave, I swear to God, like this. I swung the boat around, that boat would turn on a dime. But when I got like this, the whole boat came out of the water and I had no rudder. I went straight, nose down, the back of the boat's out of the water, nose down. I missed the jetty by 25 feet. I went right inside the jetty. I went right to the diner in Amesbury. I had like 6 eggs over easy with a chocolate shake.
Just a de-stress.
A chocolate shake, like
De-stress.
immediately. I was like, because when you get up like this on those, my boat doesn't do that, the new boat, but the old boat was so light that if you got in a foul and went up like this, the rudder, even though the rudder was that big, it was out of the water, Yeah. And it was, so there's been.
Mike, tell him to.
And then I made the mistake, a big mistake of me and Rourke. We're going to leave New London, Groton, in my boat, and we're going straight to the Norfolk Canyon from Groton. Straight shot, which means which is the most efficient way if you were going to go by the...
Who were you with, Pat?
Yeah.
Patterall.
Yeah, he was, I'll tell you what.
Great name, right? Rocky, I love you, bro.
I love Rourke.
I was in the Bahamas with him for a month.
Kid will do anything. He'll go down there, He'll do anything. He's really stay awake. He's good on the boat. But we're in the north. We get north of the Norfolk, and I had gotten a weather report a little earlier that it was going to puff up, but I figured it's going to be. I won't worry about it. It'll be behind me or coming off the side of the boat. And we got into it just north of the Norfolk, and that was another situation. I really wanted to take a right. I wanted to go that way, and I couldn't do it. I mean, it would have been that bad coming out of the west, right? Mm-hmm. Big wind, and it was cold and lonely. I think I saw one boat. And I tried to talk to the guy who was in a ship. Said, "What's up, buddy?" They're all foreigners running the boat. So
yeah.
But I was just happy to see somebody.
Some shit right there.
Yeah, yeah.
I like the green stick talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we dive into that a little bit?
Let's morph into the fishing talk. Can I ask a question first?
Yeah,
What's on
go.
my head?
Yeah.
Just kind of like a bigger picture question, I guess.
Yeah.
Then we can talk about the stick. Both of you have fished pretty much up and down the East Coast everywhere for these things. Where do you think is the most difficult place to be successful with giants?
That's a great question.
I know where I would say, and I haven't fished as much as Mike for them, but getting, a jumbo out of the current in the Outer Banks once it starts paddling.
I think you're talking about where's the toughest place to catch them.
Yeah, like whether
whether they're
landing
fighting.
them,
Yeah.
like kind of the whole big
yes,
picture.
I felt helpless catching a big fish, and I've lost a couple, knowing right off the bat that I'm outgunned.
Yeah.
I mean, you have 2 Joe shoots out. We weren't rerun the stick half a mile, so boom, it goes. The other one, right, as fast as humanly possible. By that time, you're way on the back end. And these things go, and they get down into
the tide, and they
get in the tide and start paddling, and you just you got to start getting creative. We fucking chase them around, fucking 15 knots, putting loops in them.
I told you about the killer loop.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Trying to
legit,
tail
dude.
wrap 'em,
Because
not a tail
Or
wrap,
just
but
change the angle of it.
eventually you're gonna lose. What do you want to rub?
Yeah.
Rub. You want to do it now or in 5 hours? Eventually, you're going to part.
Yeah.
So we bust some moves on them, and we've had good success.
we never had a lot of problems with the fish.
I remember one day we had 2 bites, and 2 times I mean we had it to the nuts, everything, and I was in my head I'm like, this fish is I can't get and
Yeah.
They down there when they make runs like the bigger ones anyway. If I say bigger ones when they're 110, 108 to 115 inch fish, and they want to go and they get the tide behind them, that it's almost impossible
that's exactly
to stop
what I was
them
trying to.
when they get in the current and
it's like shit, man. What are you gonna do? So
I
you start
fish-
playing with
I
them. You
don't
loosen
fish-
up on them. You let them go a little bit. We try to put a loop in them.
Yeah.
Let them fight. Go next to them like this, and then make a move on them, and then reel like a mother. Until you can hopefully. It's not wrapped up, and you get up and down on. You get a chance.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll tell you this. I don't think I'll ever fight a fish for more than 2 hours ever again. That type of thing.
Yeah.
I've had 5.5 hours a couple times. That's a great story. Remember to tell you that. But I don't think I really want to. What we do with the boat, because if you're only getting one shot at the fish every day, obviously you're not going to put it up to 55 and start doing crazy things. But that boat, I try to keep the fish, always with a little bend in the line for drag for when they're out like that. And then the hook. I feel the hook's going to come out. It's going to come out as soon as I start making this move, and it'll be over. But we do just this big loop on them.
Learned that lesson on that jumbo where the cargo liner on the Cape. Remember that fish?
So you're just running parallel with
No,
them? Or you're
no,
trying to get actually in front of them?
So I get up, so the fish is there,
Yep.
and I'll go this way and start to curve around this way. So as I'm coming this way,
You're meeting
the
up
guy
with
that's
them.
reeling is taking up all that slack with ease. It'd almost be nice.
Yeah,
if it
once
was on
you get the unit, so the fish is here, and he took off here. We did it, came over here, and now we're with him. He's
And then I
fighting
just
that
corner
big
him off.
loop.
Yeah.
Then I got on
Take
top.
that
We
turn.
try to
Makes
turn and get
sense.
right over
Yeah.
the top of him.
Yep.
And then he's there again. Now he's got all the string back on the reel. And if he goes, he might do that a couple times. But
Yeah, but a lot of times too, like they just I don't know. It's not confusing. I know you're not confusing them, but a lot of times you get it. We got a crack at a couple fish where, next thing you know, they're on top. Like,
Right next to the boat.
what's
right
going on? And
Yeah.
next thing you know, bang.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fucking, let's
Yep.
go. Sneaking.
The killer loop.
Me and Mike sneaking into Wanchese one night. Coming in from Jersey, wherever we were, we would pick our way down. That's the greatest thing. It's the adventure of it. Mike, you ready to go? Let's go. Me and him, no fucking reservations. No, we know where we can get fuel, where we need to get to. Pick our way through, and we have a blast.
Yeah.
So, we heard a couple guys caught. They're out the 40 or the 400
400
mark.
line, yeah.
Fucking let's go. So me and Mike, it's like 1 a.m. We're in the 400s. We got 2 out. Let's put them out there. And, I'm like, all right. I'm like stretching out. It's just fucking physical. It's a contact sport fishing the Outer Banks when you're by yourself because Mike's on the boat. And you have to, whether you get out there, you have to, it's not like, it's just different out there, A couple different things. So, boom. It goes off. Fucking let's go. The 130 gets dumped, right? Fucking bringing the other one. Fucking let's go. We're fucking going up and down. It's fucking fog. We're right in the blend. It's like you just don't.
It's like you're tacking. I was noticing that you're like tacking through that shit and like timing your approach
to get
through that
to
shit.
get back to where they are.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
that technique is like to be where they are without having to fight the line all the way back to them,
right?
Or backing down in that shit. It's like that's a death.
That was fucking wild. That was the craziest part of the whole experience.
Well,
Isn't it eerie?
It's crazy.
Yeah, and then there was no other boats out there.
You guys are good. You can move it however you want.
There's no other boats out there. We're fucking tight. It's fucking 130's gone. I'm fucking already have the money spent in my head. What is? I'm like, fucking, thank God. I'm like,
I'm going to get a cup of coffee when I get back.
And a fucking upgrade from the boat to a motel in the boat. Jeez, let's go. Fucking 3 hours later, me and Mike fucking soaked, fucking this and that. Get the light on it. Mike's got fucking both harpoons. A Joe shoot hanging in the wing of the biggest fucking ray I've ever seen in my life.
1,000-pounder.
If you could ever cry inside without physically crying, I was fucking so defeated. I was crying on the inside. I was wiped. But, I thought we fucking hit it. We're going to go in fucking, let's go. Oh, man.
He's already got the money spent.
I'm back in the bunk tonight, baby.
Talk about from high, the highest to high, finally 3 hours.
Well, we caught him
let's
after that,
go.
but it was.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't want to fight another. He was like, if you want to fight it, I'm like, this has the lines going on. You want to fight? No, I don't want to fight it. You fight it.
Yeah, then we had then he called, was the worst thing that ever happened between me and him, and we've been through a lot of shit with different, on the boat, but I'll never forget it. He called me a fucking moron. I'm like, fucking, whoa.
He stopped reeling.
Fighting fish for 2 hours, after we've already broke off 3. It's me.
He walked away from the rock.
It's fucking,
Yeah.
He's like, said something. He said, a moron.
And I apologized.
I'm like, fucking, I never call you a name. I go, I fucking quit. I pick my rubbers off. I go in the thing. I put my feet up. He's like, what the fuck? We're on a fish fucking rod's like, ripping this and back.
So
I
you
go,
quit
dude, I
mid-fight?
quit. Yeah, I quit
Just
with
the
the
two of
fucking
us.
fish on. I'm like, fuck you.
I just put the drag up to 6 pounds and just let it sit
He goes, I go, you have to apologize to me, fucking, if you want to, if you, I never call you any names. Like, he's
Yeah.
like, fucking,
I felt bad about
I didn't
that.
fucking call you. I didn't mean it. I apologize. I went over, we gave a big hug. I put the glove on. Give me a left-handed glove. Let's fucking go. Fucking, boom, punched him out, fucking went in there.
Oh, the highs and the lows. The highs and the lows of that shit.
Dude, I'll tell you, it fucking.
We've had some brotherly love.
Oh God,
issues, you know?
it's impossible not
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I can imagine.
Good battles.
Oh, yeah.
how about Soup and Vinny?
Yeah.
I think Vinny hit him over the head with a golf club. Right?
Like something out of the Sopranos.
At the family picnic.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And I know you guys know Dan and Matt.
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
Sean.
They're great guys.
So I'll tell you what, honest to God, if you know, you know, senior. right down the line,
So
5-star, right? But, you know, Matt was having another baby last year, you know, and me and Dan are trying to giant fish, you know, whenever he can. He's still, Dan's junior's running a business.
Yeah.
Matt has a baby, a pregnant wife. He has Chub Mac all of a sudden as seniors, you know, so he can scooch out, and he didn't even get one solo yet, you know, so he still had that on his mind. But instead of saying, like, no, I'm not going to go, he'd be like, you know, on the group text, yeah, I'm in. And I knew, and, you know, his brother Dan knows, like, it's probably not going to happen, you know? So we never counted on Matt. So
Never count on who?
I never counted on Matt last year because he
'cause
was
he's
always
having a
busy.
kid.
Yeah, he had a lot going on.
He's
Right. And I don't know, and it was like therapy talking to Dan out there. You know, he's like, you know, why can't he just say I can't make it, Dan? Like, Dan, you know, he's got. Then once you get over it, you know, you can only look at balloons so long. You know, we torque each other. I'm like,
Totally.
I think that's Matt over there in Chub Mac fucking with 2 lines out. Get the fuck out of here. You know, he would, and one day he did, you know, like it was one of them days, and he couldn't go because whatever in the morning. And I'm saying, I know this is going to be floating out here trying to catch it on Chub Mac,
his
the
own
little
boat,
one.
yeah.
And I go, damn, look at the fucking guy. Can't even tell us, you know, I got to get Dan talked up. Then I talk him back down. It's great. It's a great, they're great guys. You know, that whole crew there. I mean, everybody, we're lucky, you know.
So many good guys.
So many good guys up and down, even New York, New Jersey, you know.
Maine,
Mass, everywhere.
Canada,
even Bahamas. I mean, I go out in Bimini. I'm like an honorary whatever.
Oh, you're like
you know, I go down there and drink, you know, they have fever tea, like tea leaves, and smoke bushweed and fucking tell stories with them guys, you know?
Yeah.
And they're great.
Yeah.
You know, it's the people.
It's like in Canada, that homegrown shine. I remember Weber, this, whose boat were we on? Craig's
You may
boat.
not want to say whose boat you were on.
Craig's boat.
This in Canada?
Yeah, Craig, they all make their own shine. They all make their own wine, everything like that. They jar, can, everything. Like, they're super old school. And we had a hell of a day. We had, like, I don't know, like 3 fish, 800 plus to the boat. You know, we're chartering, releasing. And it was like Weber's inaugural trip up there. So he had to get the shine. And he was like dodging it the whole fucking time. And I just remember Craig's big dude like you. He's like, Weber's like trying to sneak off the boat at the end of the day. We're all taking shots. He's like trying to escape. And all of a sudden you see Craig's mitt just reach over and grab him by the collar. He's like kicking in the air. Puts him back on the boat, basically force feeds him. Like, hey, part of the camaraderie, baby.
Yeah. It's like eating the heart, right?
Oh, totally.
It is great. I mean, some of the best trips. I mean,
Tell them about the trip we took those guys a couple years ago. So these guys actually from the guys that moved the buoys for Noah, remember?
oh yeah, that was a good trip. Yeah, I met these guys on a research trip doing just a little side gig in the winter to
funny.
get out of this weather. Anyway, they're the guys that.
It's the guy's birthday. Guy from Noah, one of them.
Yeah, I made friends with him. I was on a boat from out in Cali for like 10 days. I'm like, he's a Cape Cod guy. He's never caught a tuna. He's getting married. I'm like, you know, like, you give you a number to 100 guys. You want to kill a tuna, give me a buzz, you know. Sure shit, he calls me and says, you know, Dan, I want to, you know, there's 4 of us.
My bachelor party.
I'm like, all right, there was a sick bite going on out near Watch Hill. I mean, like that Rhode Island bite a couple of years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
When it's like, do you even have a permit to be in Rhode Island? You know, when people
Yeah,
starting to say that, you know the bite's fucking ridiculous.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Anyway, so they come down.
Yeah.
And
Dan
even-
said it. Dan filmed it like in the morning. I'll never
Yeah,
forget
in the
this.
morning. I did. I took a little
So he did
video.
like a little video, like it's like 2:30 in the morning, and he's like, I have a really good feeling about today, you know.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's
this is the
gonna
parking
be
lot of the marina, you know. We're in New London, and it's
One of those days, you fucking guys know.
When you know, you're
When
going
you
out.
know
You
what's
It's like
going on.
overcast, dying northwest.
And I'm like,
You're
you know what? I'm
this
gonna
is gonna happen.
capture it too. So
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, it's 2:30 in the morning. It's gonna be a fucking day. I'm just saying.
I got the
in case
bait
it
the day
happens.
before. So
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
like 14 blues in the 2 tanks.
Oh, yeah.
Nice ones too.
So
like,
there's no-
not these monsters.
Yeah.
There's no market, right, at this point for fish. Tommy's like, fuck you. And everybody, you know, like,
Yeah.
no one's taking fish.
Yeah.
You know, and it's an open day and there's quota, you know, I'm like, right, bonus. You like tuna to eat, you know, right? He's like, yeah, I'm like, bring all your coolers because, you know, you're
And they
going to
did.
need it.
They
And
came with like 20 totes
They
No
come with
shit.
They had 20 totes.
They come with fucking 20 fucking
20
coolers.
boxes.
I'm like, fucking, here we go. It's fucking on, right? I'm like, Mike,
They don't bring them on the boat. They leave them in the truck.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So we get out there and we're in Rhode Island waters.
But we get there like 4:30 in the morning.
Right. And
And,
didn't we get hit by a mako?
We had a mako shark immediately.
So we got a mako. It's one of these days. It's gorgeous out.
And everybody wants to kill it, you know. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I as the thing swims by the boat, I hit it with the knife.
I'm such a dick like that. You know how many times? Fucking Dan Smalley too,
Oh,
Junior
yeah,
man.
yeah,
I'm
we
fucking killing the next big mako that comes near that boat. And he's like, no. I'm like, I can kill it anyway.
And then,
These guys are freaking out. They've never seen any shit like this. Things
we're
jumping out of the water.
We're
and
from
shit.
here to the end of your
Sick.
driveway off the beach.
Yeah.
Really?
That's it.
I mean,
That's
yeah.
We're watching guys surf.
Is it all just pogies and bluefish, and the tunas are just roaming
It was
around?
blue. You know, they really ate the bluefish there. Like they didn't eat all the bait. You know, there's draggers in there and stuff.
But this
But
wasn't.
they were
a-
keyed in on bluefish. If you had bluefish, you're pretty much.
So yeah. So now you got 4 guys that have just seen some shit that they've never seen before, and they're like, "Okay, we get back in, we take care of that, rack that rod, get a fucking new
Oh no!
130,
Yeah.
get a new 130, let's go."
Immediate. Boom. Another one.
Oh yeah, but this.
Now there's.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So we
There
got.
was
We
another
got.
bite.
So no, the first bite. You know, right out of my hands next to the boat. Boom, we're on. The guy's like, "What? What do you mean we're on?" I said, "Get on
Yeah.
the reel." Screaming out. So we put it to the back and you know, shallow in there. You're 60 feet of water, so I know where this thing's going. The killer loop in there too. I think we did, but you know, nobody's even there yet. So I said to you, I said, "Watch out! That he's like going up and he's kind of coming down on the handle like this." And I'm like, "He's gonna," you know. And I never.
Dude, that's right. The real blew up.
Snaps the handle off the reel. So now I'm like, I've seen this picture before. I know how to handle this. Right?
Yeah.
So I start stripping a bunch of line off.
I grabbed the other line.
You got the other line. So I get the crimp on. I got a swivel in my hand.
Yeah.
And I got the other line, and I got a crimp. I got the line in my mouth, and I got the crimp in my hand like this.
And it snap. I had a wrap on that tuna, and my
You're trying to hold it in the tide because it's swimming next to the boat.
Snap.
No, it didn't snap. I got the line through the swivel onto the crimp, and I just go in to put the crimpers on the crimp, and I feel the thing go out of my mouth like this. It was going. I was getting, I'm like, all right, let's get back in the game. The guy snapped because he snapped the reel right off the handle.
That's when I started giving these guys a pep talk. Like,
Yeah,
Mike,
he's-
listen, guys.
Now he's coaching.
You fucking understand what's going on here? It's fucking on. Like, no more blowing up reels. No more fucking. I just happen to have the megaphone that.
Yeah, he had a megaphone, so he has the ones in the collar.
So fucking, I'm like, get ready. I'm like, it's fucking on.
Comes out. Get ready. That's what he said. Get ready, Ray. Get ready.
Oh yeah, yes. I'm fucking getting these. Now these guys are like a mako and a fucking tuna that just went berserk and blew a reel up. They're like,
So now,
fucking
going on?
Yeah.
I put one out like 60 yards on a float, maybe 30, 40 feet, a little bit off the bottom. And we're standing, I'm getting ready for a second bait, and I see like the balloon is halfway to where I had it. It was out there a minute ago. I turned around, the balloon's like,
drifting,
it's
yeah.
halfway to the boat.
Yeah, he already ate it.
No.
Oh, he's chasing.
Bluefish comes, from here to, let's say your kitchen.
Yeah.
Maybe closer than that. Off the back of the boat, the bluefish airs out. These guys are sitting there on the box,
Dude,
like
everybody's sitting there
the whole
looking
thing,
at because they're
700
addicted.
pounder
I was
in
like,
midair grabs it. I got the mustard hanging out of his. Oh no, I had a.
dude, he had that thing dog boned. I'll never forget it. And it didn't even go like this. It went straight
up like this. It didn't
like
go
this with
yeah.
the bluefishes, and I saw the line come like this, pull up from the balloon, and then the balloon finally moved, and the thing belly flopped. I'm like, what the fuck? The fucking rod rips. These guys are like, oh! I'm like, I told you, I got this fucking thing. I'm like, we're tight. Everybody listen the fuck up on the megaphone.
With the megaphone.
I'm like, real motherfucker, Ray, let's go. Fucking.
This is like
Make a
this is
long
like
story
6:30 in the
short,
morning.
shit.
6:30 in the morning.
Dude, long
These guys are
story
having
short.
coffee and shit. They're like, what the hell was that?
We had a fucking 117-incher fucking.
Well, that was so that one. The guy did the best he could, but he broke.
No. That's we caught that. We killed the fucking.
Not that one.
There was another bite after that.
You're out of your fucking.
Dude, I don't know.
broke
I was fucking.
broke the
Dude, the energy in here right now.
broke the handle.
Yeah.
I don't know if it chafed it off or
Mako,
pulled the hook on
broken
the second
handle.
one. And then the third one was, remember, it got real rough, and we just used a boat we got back on this fish. That was over 900 pounds, 117
It's
inch.
a 117-inch fish. We fucking barely got it on the boat with the block and tackle.
Yeah, with the hauler.
And these guys are fucking waiting with their coolers for me to come. Like, what the fuck?
We got to clean.
Like, we look like some fucking from Okinawa, dude. This thing didn't even fit between the cooler and the
box.
gunnel.
Between the box and
I'm
the
mounting it like a fucking rhinoceros in a fucking knife. Like, we're at New London. Everybody from the dock fucking coming down there. Birds. Fucking
Can I have a piece of that?
foreigners, fucking yes, you can.
It's like
yes,
it's
Yes, to all.
It's
Did
like
he have the microphone, like, or the megaphone, like?
I know. I listen to your podcast. I know you guys are trying to pump more consumption of bluefin. The shit's fucking disgusting. It's fucking oily.
I know.
Dude.
Well, especially when they're that big, cutting them at that time.
And it was
Michael's anal retentive.
And it was
He's
nine-
never
it was
seen nothing like this on his boat before. He's like, fucking, I'm going around spraying common lavender spray. Soup told me that's the secret weapon to calm him down. Because he's a big dude. He snaps.
No, I don't
I'm like,
snap.
fucking
I just like things clean. But
spraying lavender
I'm with
spray.
you.
He's like, oh,
I'm the same.
I'm
what do you get in
I'm
the dock? You
compulsive.
got enough coolers? You got enough?
He mounts this thing with like a 15-inch machete. Like it's like this long and just carves
Like I was fucking on the Nishimaru cutting up a fucking minky for medical research. Like it was nasty.
It was 90
That's
degrees.
why I don't like bluefin. You want to know why? That's why. That experience.
It was 90.
Oh
Dude,
my
It
god.
was 90 degrees.
Oh my god.
90 degrees.
When the blood turns black.
Yeah.
There's no way to like I was having like a mini panic attack, I think. Because all the blood and whatever was
Mini
left.
panic attack.
Not the blood.
That's
but
fucking
the oil
severe.
from the fish. The oil.
Yeah.
It was like like the Exxon Valdez in the harbor. There was slicks. There was rainbows everywhere.
And whatever it is, we had a deal that I had to get the fuck out of there at like 6. And so someone else, I don't know who it was.
Ronnie cut it up.
Yeah, but I'm like, fuck, no, I carved plenty of that thing up. It was disgusting. It was horrible.
Took them like 2.5 hours to get all the
Dude,
all the
I have to
boxes.
take this thing's 117 inches, jumbo, fucking fat
that's
too.
full grown.
Yeah, and so
I
I'm taking
can't even imagine.
dude, I tried to cut like a 2-foot off the top. It's like 80 pounds. Trying to carry a person, they sliding off. I'm like, fuck. It's horrible.
That'll never happen ever again. By the way.
No.
Fuck
I
that.
feel like it usually takes one of those. Like we killed a massive poor beagle. What was that, like 3 years ago? Like
yeah.
a 500 pounder.
Oh yeah.
And it never happened again.
Mike don't like killing any. Like, fuck, I see same thing. Yo, look at that blue marlin. Mike comes out there, fucking get another Joe shootout.
That's funny. We talk about green stick fishing. We're going to
Yeah.
get onto that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day, you remember this. I look out. These guys like to. They got everybody that fishes with me has got glaucoma, so they got special medication that they take for it. And I'm driving the boat, and we're on a nice little break there. I'm like, geez, man, it's hard edge, like green water, blue water, birds, little chicks and stuff. Well, I look out the window to the right, and here goes my spreader bar, not out of the rigger yet, with a blue marlin on it, like dancing, just airborne. I'm like. And these guys are in the back, like they're in the back of the box. They don't realize it. Things
Back of
happen.
the box, fucking. Fucking blue marlin goes by.
Goes down the side of the box.
Out the window.
I said, "Hey, fellas, you notice anything going on out here at all? Here we go. Snap! The thing comes out of the rigger. It's like greyhounding down the side of the boat. Were you with me when the one on the green stick almost jumped in that other guy's boat?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
We snapped we had a big blue on. Snapped that fucking hook, remember?
Oh, big hook.
On the dropper? Yeah,
Yes, on the
big
green stick.
hook.
I had a monster Japanese hook probably from the 60s. This monster, I put it on one of my baits, kind of a lucky hook. And that fish snapped that hook right off the...
shit.
Oh, yeah.
The big blue.
Big one.
Yeah, you never know what you got.
Yeah, what do you do with them on the stick? Like, what's your
I want them to get
process?
off. I want them to just get off. If I pull them in, I got to just put like a de-hooker in them and something, just get the hook
Okay,
back.
yeah.
Or I don't like losing stick baits.
So walk us through the stick. I mean, you've basically been fishing it like longer than anyone I know that's been fishing the stick.
There's a lot of guys that were before me, but like I think I mentioned Frank and some guys in Connecticut. Herbie had one years ago, and Donnie Braddock and Stearns. Those guys had green sticks when I was still in the center console. But I started. The first time I picked it up, I had the whole mast built and rigged up all the hydraulics, and I got to the first day. It's a funny story. We left New London. No, I wasn't in New London. I was probably in Clinton at the time. But we got just at this place called 6 and 8, famous spot, just between Montauk and Block, a little south. And I just said, let me throw it out for the shits and giggles. I'm in the zone where these fish would come through in the July and August and stuff like that. And back then, the spots that we fish now were fished when I first started fishing. Those fish, they were fished there all the time, mud hole to butterfish hole and out, wherever the gully and all those spots. But I wasn't expecting anything. And I put the thing out, I got back in the wheelhouse, and I went, I don't know, maybe 7/8, 3/4 to a mile in the fucking, just hear this, the whole thing just, boom, I'm like, what the fuck was that? The whole roof shook, boom, it was that kind of a hit. And I looked back, and a bluefin had grabbed one. It was pulling, it broke the stick line, and then another one piled on. So I had two at the same time.
Wow.
I think I don't think I even went a mile, but we'll say a mile. And then, then the test of the hydraulics and knowing how to play them and all that stuff. So Eugene Berger actually helped me because he had, I think from Donnie Braddock, he had some main line that I could kind of set up. Once I put it on,
get a template
of something, yeah. And the way it works is really it's geometry, and just that angle that comes down to the bird and where you're going to place your baits and how you're going to fish them and all that. But we just every day I'd go out in the harbor and just hang baits and kind of see how they swam. And I didn't really learn a lot. I learned how to put things together, but I never learned from anybody. I saw people do it, jigging and all that stuff, but. And then we started getting creative with the birds that we use.
That's what I was going to ask. Is there like a secret? Is there a secret to the tension on the stick, or is it just?
I don't think there's a secret. What I think is that the stick fishes so much better on rougher days, like when you got a little chop or any kind of wind where the baits are getting pushed around without jigging, and because of the chop versus flat water. Flat water, the normal Wanchese bird or whichever bird you want to look at, is just pulling in flat water. There's no action to the bird except for pull.
There's no
surge. Not a lot of surging. So I made this one that's got to be, the big one I had, it's got to be 4 feet long.
Painted up and put all the
tape on. We made it with foam and put these fins on it, and it was gigantic. And I've had blue marlin put their nose right through the whole thing, hanging on their nose.
Wow.
Flipping off. Mako sharks trying to grab it. I thought about putting a hook on it. But that bird would do things that a normal bird wouldn't because of the weight and the way that it spun. So I didn't weight it so it was perfect, so that it was just plowing water. I weighted so it would roll. And on the roll, when it grabbed the fins again, it would pull. It would just grab in, and all the line would just come down, touch the water. And then when it released, the lines would jump.
So is it actually spinning, like it's rotating?
No, not all the time. It's just... When if you made a turn, and
it's saving you from having a jig.
We put ball bearings in. We put the crazy shit with them. Have them make noise and that kind of thing. But I don't think that was really the thing. Was the tension that it puts in the line. But what it does, the baits. What you do with the baits as a result of the tension and turns and stuff like that. I learned a ton from talking to that guy I mentioned before. Just sitting down there talking to Chuck Midget at his boat in Wanchese, and they fish a little bit differently. Have all the success in the world, but they do a lot. When I'm fishing for the yellowfin or big eyes, yellowfin especially, I'll baits vertical, barely touching the water, tentacles or a Ronzi, just coming down and touching the water, especially when it's rough.
All your baits?
Yeah, so they're just they're positioned yellowfins. When you're on a good bite of yellowfins and you can still catch big eyes, but if I wanted to catch the big eyes, I'd bring the spool in a little bit and let the baits drop and have the tentacles just dragging. Gotcha. So they get like this back there, and the action.
They're like waking more as opposed to dipping?
Yes, versus dipping. The yellowfin kind of frenzy when they see that. I think that's the big...
Sometimes they love, we've, more than once, when the buoys are out there, we've had a sporty or two chasing us trying to get a bite, and we're just fucking.
Yeah, they could. Yeah,
They're just piling on the stick.
Yeah,
What do you-
makes a big difference.
It is. It's a definite advantage. And although I'll say there's guys that I've been behind a couple of times, like these kind of stories that blow your mind. Like it's the day you can't get a bite. You can get a bite, but you're not catching the right fish type of thing on the big ice, And I've been behind, the hot potato a couple of times, that big aluminum monster boat. He has like 12 130s off the back with Yamashita squids. Or some of the sport guys with the sonar that could dial in on a pot of bait, and next thing you know, all the rods go over. But, making changes like that out there is like, being able to say, there's days we had, I don't know if you were with me, but we had my normal spread in the canyons, spreader bars, ballyhoos, swimming plugs, kind of a mix of 7-8 rods plus the stick. That's what I start with. And there's been days I run over these fish. I know they're there. I'm catching yellowfins, and the big eyes are there, and they're not even coming up for the stick. And just say, one day I come out, so cut all the lines, and put ballyhoos on every single one of them, 7-8 ballyhoos, without exaggeration. Go up half a mile, turn around, come back, every rod in the boat and the stick, because it's just one of those things. But I think the stick will bring them get the bites that we might not normally get because we're a small boat.
Yeah.
Compared to like when you get behind a sporty that's 18 feet, 20 feet wide, and they got the dredges in the water, they got the baits, and they're fishing natural, and for some reason they're dialed into that day.
Are you tweaking the amount of drops canyon fishing versus?
No, I fish 5. I fish 5 because I could fit my. The hard thing with the green stick is, when you're bluefin fishing, some people say you have to dump half the spool. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think we get bites off the back of the boat as well as we do on. It's better. I guess
seen them on the third bait.
No, I'm talking about the so you got your 2 rods and the
Your
riggers.
bait rods, yeah.
And you're trying to fish maybe one on a. What I'll do is I'll put a planer down, straight under the boat, say 100 feet, and then I'll fish a bait way back under the whole spread, like dump it downtown and let it go, So that bait will be under the rest of the stuff on the surface, but you can't make turns because the 5th bait is, if I take my stick and go up another 10 feet, then I could put the baits further back with the same length, because you want the baits. Although we get bit on stuff like this off the far, near the bird, you get a lot more of your bites in the middle and on the longer baits that have the action when the fish aren't really cooperative. If they're cooperative, they'll jump on anything. But like you said, some of those bites there where everybody thinks it's easy, it is easy. When the buoy is like that, there was nothing like it. To be able to catch some days 35, 40 big eyes in like a day.
The right bait too. Well, that matters too. Just because where I was out there with Tough Guy, we were using what we were using, and we were getting, they were jumping on it out there, and there was, I think Paulie was with somebody out there. He's like, what are you guys using?
Paulie from Shinnecock?
Yeah.
Yeah. Provider, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is what we're using.
Yeah.
And they made the switch. They went back out there. And clobbered. He wasn't even getting, it's like difference between a 6-inch and a 4-inch bait, or a flying fish or a squid. Sometimes they're just on something.
Yeah. What's amazing is that they won't bite. Some days they won't bite other boats' rods. Like you're marking, all these fish down there, and you get bites because of the stick, and the guys that are really good trollers might not catch them. But the guy that says, "Oh, I'm going to put one down on a planer 50 feet," will get a bite. Versus guys I can't get a bite. Everything's up here, and so it's just always adapting to. I think that's what's great about out there is that, you could keep an eye on what's going on. Sonar's changed the game.
Yeah, it has.
I've seen guys like pulling on
Canyons,
stuff
at least.
and stem the tide in the canyon, like just hold the boat like this with the thruster and just kill them. But yeah, I mean the stick is it's been a big addition for us catching that many fish.
So fun too on the hydro. You just stand there with a pair of gloves, another guy with a gaff, and
Yeah,
let's
awesome.
go. Yeah,
It's
The
tough.
bites are unreal.
It's tough dealing with the giants. You get one on that. I fish for like 900 on the drops now. I fish 400 with the small baits on occasion for the yellowfin.
Yeah.
They're smaller fish, but I think I fish mostly the big squids now, and you get one on that number 5, and it's 100. It's a long, long bait, and you got to pull that thing in.
Yeah.
You don't want to get that thing wrapped around your wrist. I'll tell you that.
The first bluefin bite I had on the stick was a double, like you were mentioning earlier.
Yeah.
And it was on the close drop, and we were on the
Number
leader.
5.
We were on the leader for like 15 minutes.
They pull.
20 minutes. They pull. It black back.
Yeah, just
coming up.
It's not like having it on a rod.
No.
There's a lot of forgiveness.
Not
It's
at all.
Your arm, your shoulder,
Yeah.
your back.
But it's awesome. There's nothing like it, really.
Especially when you know it's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, well, 'cause that fish is ridiculous out there.
Yeah.
And they're biting, even though the morning bite where we were dropping stick baits,
Oh,
dropping max
in
down.
Carolina?
Yeah, it's like catfish. It's almost like catfishing.
Yeah.
Go out there, big dead max.
Dead flutter max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kaboom. There's just
Big weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, big weights.
Yeah, how do you fish, like, do the whole bait dropping thing for giants there?
Down there?
Yeah. I mean, I've heard kind of like different stories from.
Yeah, I try to mark fish. I always try to kind of get in an area where, and I wouldn't say off on my own, try to get off on your own a little bit and see if you could find your own little herd of fish. And it's funny that people think they mark something on the screen that 2 minutes later the fish will be gone, but the fish are just moving,
Yeah.
So if you mark, I drive around usually, we'll troll until we usually fish just in the night with the, we stop trolling
AM.
early morning. We'll have baits out deep, but you're fishing. Say you fish 150, maybe 250 with heavy weight, just in the stream, and the baits like flutter baits are like, we'll foam them up and they get nice. I put little toothpicks in their fins, in their pectoral fins, so they sit down there. You can't. I don't like to fish the stick baits as much as the flutter bait there because the tide runs so high. Yeah, plus you
It
get
is.
the weight.
It's nuts. Those are the fish you have a hard time fucking handling. Too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it matter like size leader and stuff, or are they just kind of eating whatever?
You're in the stream. You're on the verge of the stream. Sometimes you're in the green water, but
Yeah.
I mean, I fish 150 Mackay like everywhere I go, regardless of even if I had a kite up.
Yeah.
Because I'm confident that they're not going to break it. What's the point in trying to get 200 up there? If the wind dies down, you get more problems. But
Yeah.
you can't break it.
That shit is strong.
You can't break that. Everybody talks
Coils
about,
up nice too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very rare. I'm always I shave tube on everything, little pieces. Everything's like nice and neat, and can't break it. I did. We were talking about that fish up that we had a 1,100 pounder on north part of Blue Hill between there and Pigeon Hill one day.
That was a ridiculous
Remember that
fish.
And then we went back. I didn't never fish there again that year. Matter of fact, I caught it in the bay on the way home. I marked him on right south of the southwest corner between there and the race. Yeah, between there and the race. Yeah. I was just kind of moseying around, making my way home.
Bird Island is what we call that.
Yeah, it's always activity there.
So I learned a lot on that fish.
Yeah.
Learned a lot about heat or no heat.
Yeah, we got one like small one, 400 pounder down there the next day, and that big one, I made more money in that little ratty fish than I did in that big oily greasy fish.
We had the screws to it for 2 hours.
So we go back the next year to that same spot. I hadn't fished it. It's they call it Southern Jeffries, but it's the northern edge of it. It goes across the top, come around the twister hole and across. Halfway down, there's some little coves in there that I set up in, and went back the next year, and we hooked one with my buddy John from Rhode Island and Dan.
That's the fish with the barge behind it.
So I had him on the screen. We had him on the screen for like 45 minutes, and I'm like, this motherfucker. He kept coming up. Boom, look at it. Boom, back down. And I could tell it was like the same mark every time. I could tell it was the same. It wasn't like there was a group of them.
Right.
One fish came and then he left. And he come back and then he left. And then I said, fuck it. And I very rarely do I do this. I brought the line and I cut the line and I put the piece of 130 pink Mackay on. Same hook, same bait, put it back out, rifle it down. I look in the wheelhouse. Here it comes, bucking. Rod bends right over.
It's crazy.
And that's the one that we were talking about that the ship was coming down on us.
Yeah, and at the end, he was on it. The kid from Groton, he was on
doing
the
a great
fish for a
job.
while.
He just couldn't get.
Yeah, I was on the fish for a while.
We had the swivel on the reel 10 times. on, not all the way.
Right.
We saw
touching or
we saw the fish early on in the fight. On
Yeah,
top.
it's just one of those fish that look ridiculously big. It's always, every time I get a bluefin on deck, it's like,
Bigger than it looks in
Jesus
the water.
Christ, these things are big.
Yeah.
This thing was, holy shit.
This was,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This was
What
this
is,
big,
holy
Higher
shit,
than the
this
goal.
could be, this is like, yeah.
not 1496, but it was.
We
I
had
can't see
had
it.
your reel pegged past the button, and Mike
rod was
had
in
his
the water.
hand gripped around under the bottom guide. And it's like, and he's
We went 7
trying
miles
yeah.
in the ball.
and
Down through the fleet. It was blowing pretty good.
That's the furthest we've gone. 7 miles.
Yeah, 7 miles.
Yeah.
My buddy, a harpooner there, Mike, we were literally talking to him. Like, he goes, Mike, you want me to move? And I'm like, no, don't worry about it. I got the fish over on this side. And we had him up and down now. But he did all kinds of crazy shit. And then I just said, okay, John, I'll take it. And I broke the fucking thing off.
yeah, this
I
fucking
chafed him right off on the hook. And that's unusual. But imagine that. I'd say that was like 3 hours.
yeah, but max heat because
That's
all he
on
fished.
that 130. On that 130 with it in his mouth. So I saw it. He was chewing on it for a long time. And so it's a real that's kind of my favorite. I don't change the lineup much. We used to fish 300 straight to the hook. That's when we started. And then, I use that Mackay. I've been just very confident in that.
Steve's a good guy, the Mackay guy.
The best.
Steve.
Steve Whiteson. You know Whiteson.
Oh yeah.
He's fucking great, ain't he?
He is. He's a
He
good
came
dude.
up to us at Damon Show. He gave us big hugs. He was like, "What's going on, guy?"
That was a perfect.
your people when you
analogy,
meet
too.
him.
Steve's gonna listen to this and probably laugh now.
He's a great dude.
I met him, then the next thing I know, I was with Senior a couple of weeks ago, and he's backing in on some huge boat misbehaving, across us. He's like, Dan Young. I'm
That's
like,
the next day.
"Steve."
He's all over the place.
He is all over the place.
Then the next day, we're taking a flight back, 6 o'clock JetBlue. Steve, fucking taking it to Providence Hotel to go do the show.
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah.
And we talked, and I called him yesterday. I'm like, there's obviously some sort of synergy fucking going on here. So
He's everywhere. That dude is everywhere.
right. Trying to get him pumped up to get Gibbs going again.
He fished with Jose, who's really kind of my when I was younger.
That was going to be one of my questions.
That was kind of when Jose's show came on. I was totally a couple things I remember getting me engaged was looking at Saltwater Sportsman, the Mako commercial when two guys got the raincoats on, yellow raincoats, and they're driving into a storm like twin Mercuries on the back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got to do that. That's something I gotta.
I think that was a still ad in their magazine,
Yeah.
right? It was a photo.
Yeah.
I have a fucking stack
of
them in
those from the old days.
Yeah, yeah.
Mako 24 or whatever it was, and they're cruising into a storm. And then Jose's show, I met him when I was 17. I had a little trouble in school, and they sent me away for a little bit to do some work in the Keys. And I met him down there, taught me how to throw a cast net and certain things. But Steve was really close with him. Whiteson was, they fished a lot together. But I was there in Everglades City as Steve was left earlier, and I probably left 2 days before Jose had that tragic accident in Everglades City. Beautiful plane, kind of handmade, custom plane that he had, and there was I don't think there was anybody tending to the airport for the wind and all that. And obviously, it was probably too windy for that plane, but that was it. Yeah, without that, he was so good. Just no ego, just real, all about fishing, sitting on the rock.
Yeah.
Just good stuff.
Yeah, he's a pleasure to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody's kind of, brought up the rear with that kind of excitement and entertaining and without having
an ego, without displaying an ego.
Yeah, it was just it's a pleasure to watch.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
This episode of the SeaBros Fishing Podcast is brought to you by Monaghan's Marine. We recently partnered with Monaghan's and are excited to be working with a local marine business that has been serving the South Shore of Massachusetts since 1961. For decades, the crew at Monaghan's has been helping generations of boat owners with outboard parts, boat service, marine equipment, and fishing tackle. Their professionalism and passion for being on the water has made them one of the most reputable boating headquarters in the Northeast. Monaghan's is located on Washington Street in Weymouth, and they are currently a Jones Brothers and Tidewater Boats retailer and have the most well-stocked inventory of Yamaha outboards, parts, and rigging in mass. The entire staff and crew of technicians have decades of experience, and as a recent addition, Monahan's has built and rigged out a brand new 4,000 square foot offshore and inshore fishing tackle shop. They are fully stocked with everything needed for offshore canyon fishing, nearshore bluefin tuna fishing, striped bass fishing, and more. We're excited to be able to use this new space as a home base to maintain our own tackle and charter fishing fleet, as well as use it as a spot to film some upcoming podcasts and workshops. As a part of this partnership, Monahan's has been generous enough to give all listeners a discount on anything in their store and facility. So when shopping at Monahan's, if you use promo code MBG24 at checkout, you'll receive 10% off any purchase in their tackle or marine department. To learn more about Monahan's Marine, their location, boat and engine inventory, or parts, visit monahansmarine.com.
I'll never forget, there was like the first year of the BB buoy, well, for me, it was probably sometime in the 90s at some point, but we were going down there in center consoles, and I knew I didn't have enough fuel to get back. I had like 90 gallons with a 225 Suzuki, old two-stroke Suzuki, which was, I'll tell you that story. When I dropped it off in front of the dealership, I unplugged it, I took the bolts out and pushed it right into the front of his door at the dealership, and that was the end of that motor. But so now you're going down there. You know you got to go 37 miles from Monomoy. You're burning X. It's another 9 plus fishing. If you didn't get a bite in the morning, that was it. If you didn't get a sunrise bite on that tide, it wasn't it. But there was a lot less bites during the day. And then the guys, like those big boats, will go southeast and chase them down and troll them. They troll the ballyhoos or whatever down there.
Swimmer Max.
Under the spreader bars, all that stuff. But I got pulled a little bit down to the southeast a few times, but I never made it back. And I get to like Monomoy, whoa, and I'd be with another boat to put it in tow. I always have a couple of jury jugs, which is stupid, and then on my honeymoon, I come around Monomoy in the 25, and I have 2 750 pounders in the bow of the boat tied into I had a stainless steel fighting post in the bow, and I tied them tails right to so they're not moving, They come across those shoals at night. It was nasty. Just, taking white water on all the rips there. And I hit a wave, and I immediately ran out of gas. So the fuel tank blew right there, split, fuel like everywhere coming out the bilge. And my buddy's behind me. I'm like, I turned the lights on because I didn't want to keep them on for too long because I got no fuel. And I don't want to. So I'm running the lights. I said, just come up behind me, grab me, and pull me in, I brought the boat in. This is on my first week of my honeymoon. And, I come home smelling like fuel. I took out a 90-gallon fuel tank in the parking lot of Allen Harbor Marina. I had a 160-gallon tank made at Chatham Welding. So I'm going from 90 gallons to 160. And at the time, I had balls of steel, so I would just I'd go anywhere. Now I could go anywhere. Yeah. The sky's the limit. And so now we're able to fish a little bit, further to the south and stuff like that. I was just thinking, another funny thing, I was telling the story the other day, bringing that boat off the Cape at the end of my honeymoon. My wife went home the first week because she says, I'll come back next week. This fuel tank split. The buyer says, I drove the fish over, gave him the fish. He says, I got another boat for you to run if you want to take it. And this is when I met Kevin Glynn, who you probably know. Kevin. Yeah. Well, we were in a guy's boat from Jersey, a big Viking, with his kids. I'll never forget that. I was fishing with Kevin, I think someone else. I don't remember who it was, but so the guy tells me, he goes, I got this boat for you. I'm like, okay, that's great, So I said, what is it? He goes, it's a 2640er. I'm like, oh boy, so fishing out there, especially those rips and stuff. So I'm like, oh, cool. So I grab a couple rods, and I get in this boat, and it's got a tower and a pulpit on it, right? And have you ever been in a 40er?
Skids out.
I don't think I've been in one.
Apologize to Kenny.
I feel like I have.
Kenny's
I've never
going to hear you and say,
well, they're a great boat, but I mean, you're steering, you're literally, your ears are touching the water many times, trying to steer the boat in the heavy shit. And so that was a pretty scary experience. But getting that tank back with 160 gallons is like...
game changer.
Yeah, I'm like, I could go to hydrographers. I could go anywhere I want in that little boat.
So tell us about when you threw the engine into the dealership.
So I bought this brand new Suzuki 225, and I had just had nothing but electrical problems. I mean, I'm fishing. I can't. And I'm up in Maine. I'm over in Newburyport, wherever I was. I was having issues with the thing, and there was not a lot of support. So I brought it home like this is like I get 2 days or 3 days a week to go do it, and I'm wasting it because I can't go fishing. And finally, I brought the thing. I drove it back, and the guy wouldn't answer the door. He knew I called him ahead of time, and he would. I'm not going to mention any names, but he wouldn't answer the door. So I just unbolted the thing, and I just pushed it against the front door of the place, and I just drove away. Just left it there. And then I got a worse engine. I won't even mention that, but the outboard till I had Yamahas and the 4-stroke Suzuki's was kind of a lot of problems. The other one we were fishing on a Pigeon Hill in my little boat, my smaller one, my little 23, and it was like I had two guys, one Tommy Heshe, you probably don't remember him, but he got killed. He unbelievable friend, from way back. We're fishing out on Pigeon Hill. We had like a couple days where, the fish were there. It was back then, like I said, if you marked 2 or 3 a day, that was kind of that's what you were waiting for, is one to swim under the boat. So we had a couple days where we had them, and back then, the center console fleet was 30, 40 boats.
Yeah.
Jimmy the Greek back then, Big Al. I don't know if you know Big Al from Rhode Island, but
He was the bodybuilder guy.
Bodybuilder, yeah. Al was the Rhode Island state champion, heavyweight, Mr. Everything. But he could pick 500-pounders up at the side of the boat and pull them in the boat.
Animal.
Swear to God, with a gaff. Pull them right in the boat, 500-pounders. Anyway, but we had, so there's those, these guys were kind of, they'd leave there and they'd go up north, and then they come back, and I'd call them during the week and say, what direction we going here, and hook up on different places. So that one of these mornings I had a couple of days where it was good out there, and I came back in and I told a couple of guys, but I didn't want, Pigeon Hill's the size of Halfway Hump or, the Southwest Coast. You're not going to get a lot of boats on it. So I figured it would be best not to spread the word, too much. But so I got up in the morning. I said, I'm going to get out here a half hour early because everybody knew what time we were all leaving at like 2:33.
Yeah.
So I get up a half hour early. I backed the truck. I didn't have my truck because something was wrong with the diesel truck. I had an Explorer, which was laboring. I had to drive it in like low 2 the whole way from Connecticut to Massachusetts. Like I could smell the transmission fluid burning, So I back in. I don't know if you've been to Gloucester Ramp, but Gloucester Ramp in the old days at low tide was 100 yards long. Maybe more. I get over the edge of the ramp like this, and I get on the green shit, the seaweed, the whole boat, the trailer, the truck, everything. Right in the water. I'm crawling out the window. I got it, and the river runs hard. The Annisquam runs, so I'm thinking this thing's getting sucked out right out going under the bridge, So I'm trying to crawl. I got the window open and shit. I got the thing in drive. It's like it's water's piling in the cab, and I'm like, oh my God! This guy comes up and runs in the water, and he backs his truck halfway down the ramp, and had a long piece of rope with a clip on it. Clips on the front of the truck and pulls me out. Oh, what a horror show!
Holy shit!
Wow,
the amount of fucking
stuff like that would happen. Like I never went on a trip. Very rarely did I go on a trip that you didn't have when you're trailering that someone didn't have a problem. It was just like we had race kits, we had seals and hub kits and extra tires and the whole bit, It was a lot of work. Yeah.
Circling back to the whole fishing thing, what would you say is like your home base for bluefins? Like, where do you feel, I mean, you've been everywhere, but where do you feel you're most comfortable?
That's a great question too. I mean, I always enjoyed Chatham, because when it was kind of open.
Good kite bite. Missed kite bite. Me and Soup double hooked when they're in Wood End.
Oh yeah, well that's the bay. Yeah, I mean I didn't mind fishing the bay in the wintertime when there's I really rather not fish in a crowd of 60 boats. That's kind of I never really enjoyed that. The odds go way down and that type of thing. But oh yeah, that's right. We hooked the
No one caught nothing. We were in there.
We only were there for like 15 minutes. This. I felt bad about this because there was. I did feel bad because my buddy was over there on another boat and they were anchored up.
Jimmy the Greek was there too. That's when you went through the net for him, didn't you?
Oh, here's a great story. So I cast the bait on the backside coming down with my big boat off the bow, and I had a tank full. And I said, Jimmy, I seen the bunkers up on the beach over there. And he goes, yeah. I said, I got the net right here. So I get off of my boat, and I get on his boat, and I'm over. We're over just inside, between Wood End and the harbor, halfway down the beach there. The bunkers were in there. Yeah. But they were down like 40 feet, and they'd come up, and then they go down. And I'm over there standing on the bow of the boat, and this guy comes over. Looked like a real, fishy guy. Had the right boat, all the right stuff. And he's going, what are you doing? Because he had a snagger out. I said, I'm going to throw the fucking casting on the bunkers. He goes, what? He goes, you're not going to get those bunkers. I said, I don't know. I don't know that I'm not, but I'm going to give it a shot, I fucking, the pancake goes down. I come up with like 150. The guy's like, so I just brought the whole thing over. I said, you want some? He goes, yeah. So I said, you pull this thing. You pull it and give me like 10 of them. You keep the rest. So I gave him to Jimmy, but we put our bait out there. This is great. We put our bait out. Gordy was there. Remember, Gordy was coming by.
With his daughter, he was fishing.
Gordy was coming by with his daughter.
He's such a savage. He is a savage. You see him on that top deck, like coming over the horizon. Like, fucking, I love it.
Yeah. So he's coming up for another drift, and my buddy Blake and the guys from Connecticut were over there. Blake and
Nick.
Greg Marsh. Remember that big Duffy? Yeah.
It was me, you, and Soup.
Yeah. So I had two baits out, and bang, floater goes off, down bait goes off, like literally
doubled up in a fucking.
I don't think we saw the flood. I don't think we saw the floater, the balloon move when all this happened, and he came and grabbed. So we got two rods,
and we had a bite on a kite bait.
Oh yeah, we had
one fish eat two baits.
Yeah.
Dude, no shit.
So we're doubled up.
Doubled up. So we're double. We don't know this yet.
Okay.
We're doubled up.
Okay.
I'm like, geez, this is coming.
Yeah, the lines go like this, and they go
straight together.
Me and Soup are looking at each other like,
oh yeah, the sun, like a nice sunset going on, and Gordy's coming up tight. I said, Gord's been there. He had
fishing a week.
He was having. He doesn't usually go a week without catching one, but whatever it was, he hadn't had one that day. And I said, Gord, he's coming right by. I said, grab a rod, So now he's coming over towards us, and then we realized that.
Oh my God!
Then we realized that everything's equidistant. Every time the guy cranks, the lines are coming up.
Two circle hooks.
Right in the no, not circles. No,
whatever they are, right here. They were on both sides because it came up. Almost you couldn't draw it up any perfect. It came right up 10 minutes like this.
You didn't even have to harpoon it. You didn't have to. I could have just grabbed it. Yeah, and I said, and the guy's like, "What the fuck was that?"
Heard the fishing sucks. We'll be right back.
Dude,
how many times?
That's the first time I've ever heard anybody hook a tuna on tuna.
I know, same
here.
How
about
sharks?
How about a hook in the asshole of a tuna? That's it. Just the asshole.
Really?
The hook
I've got them like in between the tit fins.
I've got them in the pec
tail.
In the hole. I've had the pec fins are tough, but in the hole, the ass, and the thing comes up like this sideways, and I'm like, I can see the lines like this.
Yeah.
The fish is coming up like this, nowhere near, and the line's coming off this angle. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And the line, I could see the hook. I mean, I don't know how it even happens. Like, how does it slide into the asshole when it comes out of the mouth? Or
it must have just been body wrapped and pulled the hook and like just.
It could have gotten tail wrapped in a run and then just kind of whipped around. Who knows?
Weird. That's
a weird spot.
Yeah, and the fact that you didn't rip it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's hard. It's a hard stomach, but I mean, I would have thought. And then you just take their tail out of it coming up. They don't want to do it. But they're done. Can I use the bathroom?
Wild. Yeah, absolutely.
I took the guts. Jackson just got his new Westmac a couple of years ago. Not new, but
that thing's sweet.
Sweet, right?
Yeah.
So he gets rid of the small BHM.
Yeah.
And I live right there where I live in Pointview, a little cottage right next to the marina.
Yeah.
And he was on that end slip, And he's like, I'm like, fucking sick, Jackie, fucking nice. He's like, you want to go out? I'm like, fucking, let's call Matty, fucking, Matt, you ready? Fucking Matt comes down, fucking boom. We go out. I mean, he just brought the boat back from Gloucester or something. We go out there, fucking half hour, fucking, we're tight.
It's sick. Jackson's a
cranking it.
fishy kid.
Fucking thing comes right at us, fucking smally, fucking wham. I mean, I couldn't even keep up, you know. It was stretched out, and all of a sudden you see fucking, I'm like, you see, just like Jaws there, and you see the leader cutting through the white stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, Matt, over here, it's over, because, you know, things free swimming.
Yeah.
Matt's over here. I'm like, come over here, Matt. Matt jumps over there, fucking wham, fastball, fucking smoke it, get it in. I'm take the gill plate out, taking the thing out, looking in its stomach, and the leader was like fucking. It was gonna chafe eventually. It was like caught in the hinge here.
Yep.
Go in the stomach. The bait and the hook's there. Fucking hook isn't in nothing. The hook's got reburied, almost like mouse trapping.
Really?
You know? It back in the bait. It was hooked on by the leader, like wrapped around that hinge in there.
Wow.
Nuts, dude. I'm like, look at this. Yeah, that's it. The hook never even set in it. It was
Just
fighting
holding by the pressure.
leader, yeah.
Wow.
It was like a fucking 20-minute fight, thank God, and it came at us. You know, but they go one way, you know, we're only 100 feet of water that way.
Yeah.
You know, we got him, he comes up a lot of times with like Dan, June, you know, a tough guy, we giant fish. You know, we try to get it to a point where you're not upsetting them and you're backing the boat down and fucking
They don't feel that boat
like this.
pressure.
And they're staying there, but the boat moves up on you. You know, it's just like, you know, I just want to take some pictures. And we don't say a word. Me and Dan, you know, he's fucking stoic. Nicest guy.
That's how you get them,
Stoic.
though.
Dude, that's how you get him.
Cool, calm, and collected. We caught the same fish twice. We lost them 2 days prior and then caught them 2 days later.
How do you know?
Yeah. We had identical rigging.
Yeah.
Same crimp, like matched it to our SC3C
SG?
crimpers, LI crimp.
LI?
What were we fishing at the time? We were fishing like 170 at the time.
Might have been at that.
But zero corrosion, like still Sharpie
Yeah.
on the crimp.
Oh, yeah.
Every
It was
Yesterday.
wild.
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
and correct me if I'm
I think it
wrong.
was
spot?
longer than 2 days though.
Same spot?
No, it was 5 miles. We
wasn't
lost them on
that far
Southwest
north.
Corner.
Yeah, no, you're right.
No, we lost them on Middle Bank and then we killed them on Southwest Corner.
No, we lost them in Southwest Corner. We caught them between the Old BE and Southwest Corner with Dave White. That's pretty fun. Remember, just south of the Old BE because the corner was crowded, so we slid north of the notch.
Yeah.
Check our wet
How
notes.
cool is that?
What's the weirdest
Crazy.
thing you
How
found
cool is
in
Crazy.
in tuna's stomachs?
License plate. No.
You got a little kit my boy still out all over the dock. Beaches are open.
Anything weird or kind of standard?
Yeah, I mean, some deep water stuff, you know, like obviously the fish was in the canyon. You know, catching them in the canyon. You know, sometimes they're mowing the bottom, like lancet fish, like stuff like that. I don't think I've had anything, I mean, too crazy, I don't think.
Did you guys happen to see Matt's video of Smalley when me and him are gotten a fish and Tough Guy and his like 36 fucking pogies in its stomach?
Oh, yeah.
So that thing ate a 12-pound bluefish.
Jesus.
On top of that.
Oh,
Dude, it was just opening its mouth and going through it was loaded.
Wow.
And he
Still
went out of his
12.
way to chase
That's
a very
wild.
healthy. Yeah, it's wild, right?
That
And
is wild.
sometimes, like only, you know, like Mike, we were giant fishing. You know, we were marking the hell out. We were marking the shit out of them out past Montauk 5 years ago or something, and we had everything out there except live squid. And Mike's like, you know what? I'm fucking going to sleep, Dan. Let me know when you get a live squid. He goes and lays down. Fucking, I'm looking at the screen. I'm like, fuck, man, I can't believe we can't get bit.
they bit the
Get a live squid.
They bit in the
I go,
morning.
Mike,
They
fucking
bit in the
wake up.
morning in the chunk. They came up in the chunk
Yeah.
in the morning.
So
So we
Mike-
hooked them out of the hand fed them with a chunk in the morning.
No, but at that nighttime, I said, Mike, fucking woke him up, got a squid because it was hard to, for whatever reason.
I could tell they weren't
going
going to eat. They weren't going to eat in the chunk. They were staying. They were staying down.
I'm like, how did he go to bed? The screen's fucking loaded with fish,
So let me know
and
when you got a squid.
so I got a squid.
got a
Wake
squid.
up, motherfucker. Let's see the fucking magic squid. Guess what? Fucking
Insta.
see you later. Fucking right out.
that was a 900 pounder.
Dude,
Big bastard.
and like a lot of fish, just speaking of, on Mike's behalf, they ain't pumping his tires now, bust his balls too, but we very rarely lost lost fish when we
Yeah.
hooked them. I mean, as far as like we've never that Mackay doesn't chafe, and we were very, I don't know, fortunate, whatever.
I think it's just
we just never did. We never.
you're systematic. I mean, the fact that you're anal retentive, organized, you guys fish together a lot. You don't need to communicate a whole lot. That's everything.
You don't pull crimps.
You know,
this certain shit happens, but it's not going to be as a result of
something you
something
control.
you can't control. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I think that's part of it. But
And it's not even. And De Blasio told me I did that trip after Fernandez took that job on 5 Cs. You know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and he's talking 10 days. You know what I mean? You're trolling from Bahamas to Manasquan, and he's like, you can teach. He's like, Dan, you can teach anybody how to fish because it's really not. It's harder to be a carpenter but you can't teach the passion. Right. To know that you might want to have to switch it up, even though you don't want to move and it's fucking 2 a.m. It's probably a weed or you don't want to clean the line.
Mm-hmm.
The
extra effort.
All those little things. I mean, in the proof's in the pudding because that's only one way. I mean, I learned anything about giant fishing, I learned from him. Mark told me that a while ago, and it's true. It's very simple. It's a very simple process, crimps, line, and then it's putting all the pieces together after that, tides, all the stuff that he does that I don't do behind the fucking glass.
The water,
The instinctual.
Me and Dan
stuff.
are like in 2 different worlds when we're fishing. He's on the screen getting us on the fish, and I'm doing our thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like cutting wood. There's no words to be said. It's just do it. And
I think that just the essence of giant fishing, and it's simple, but how detail oriented you have to be. It's one of those fisheries that if you apply that to any other fishery, you're pretty much going to be good at it.
Oh, yeah.
Like everything has to be perfect, simple, but perfect.
yeah, and it isn't gonna. And it's a team sport too.
Yeah.
And I always loved team sports, and so I never wanted to be the guy that's gonna, it's his fault. Yeah, like I'm here, especially like long line and stuff. Going on that, that boat's a little sketchy. It's a tin boat. It's going out, caught on fire. Yeah. Not the whole thing, thank God, but we're out there, and there's 3 of us on the deck. It's 4 of us. Like, I'm not getting off before you, and you're not getting off. Like, no matter what, right?
You're
and you get
care of
those
everyone on the boat.
Yeah, and you develop special relationships with different people, and like Mark, a great guy. And real quick about you catching that same fish.
Yeah.
So we're coming back in the Berry Islands, we're in the Bahamas, and his wife goes, damn, my wife said don't bother coming home until I have at least 2 totes of redfish, snappers, So I'm like, let's do it. He has another guy with us, I forget. Anyway, dropped the middle of the night. He's like, I got a good snapper spot. Throw it on the electric, start fucking wailing on him. And bring one up, and it has a busted hook and a crimp on it. I'm like, look at this. He comes on, he's like, motherfucker. He's like, he uses a very distinct crimp.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that fish had the same crimp on it
Really?
like last year.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, his crimp's in a redfish's
The
mouth.
odds.
residents.
Yeah, and we had no problem getting 2 totes of redfish. I mean, the guy, the
Big eye redfish.
The guy's a great guy.
That's
And
cool.
he gave me a sick opportunity, and I'm smart enough to that was like for me going to even working with Mike. It's like it's grad school. Like, are you not paying attention? The guy's been catching them since fucking Cape Cod and fucking 20.
Yeah.
Trust him. It works.
Yeah.
And
That said, too, you get someone new on the boat sometimes, and they get you to think outside the box, and then, it's an exponential learning experience for you, too. You get someone that does a completely different fishery or fishes a completely different area that just sees something slightly different, and then you start applying that, and you're like, holy shit, and you learn something in a big way.
I learn more from people that don't fish than people that say they fish.
Yeah.
Especially on the charters, when I take families out, and it's like the father and the kid, oh yeah, we fish all the time. We got a boat, we fish all and then the girl has never fished, but she listens to the way that you have to do it today, you know, and she outfishes those people 3-4 to 1. Guys like, you got another one, you know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So morphing into that, because you guys are full of stories and we're already at 2 hours and this has been fucking awesome. But your charter program, what's that looking like these days?
I mean, I've done it for, I think I've renewed my license like 6 times, I believe. I let it lapse once. I had to take the test over again. We were talking about that today. Someone, my buddy from Montauk, the Kenny on the My Joyce, his is up in April. And they came down to me like I was Pablo Escobar in the Connecticut River, like, you know, guys in boats, 2 guys in trucks. I called the DEP to see if they'd gotten my application just to make sure, you know, you get permits here, permits there, marine fishery permit, you're doing, and sometimes you forget, and I forgot. And what I forgot was that my kids were in school and, you know, going to college visits, and it's just one of those years where it wasn't really a priority for me to think about it, and so I didn't, and I let the Coast Guard license lapse for the year and plus. Yeah. So I had to go
past the grace period.
Yeah, so I called them and said, "Listen, do you have my renewal?" And they're like, "No, send it in." The guy emailed me the document, and it says Coast Guard reference number. So I went and got my Coast Guard thing out of the safe and opened it up. It expires a year plus ago. I'm like, oh boy, right? So now I had called them. So I don't know how the whole thing worked out. If someone said something, I charter in different places, Groton, London, Saybrook. So I never try to step on anybody's toes. These are all people that come with me, you know, corporate trips and stuff like that. And I don't do a lot. If I do 40 trips a year, it'd be a lot, 40, 50 at the most. Mostly inshore bass fishing, some cod in the winter.
That's a shitty mating job. Like working the deck on the dude. That was fucking horrible. I love catching fish just as much as the next guy. Someone that has it, a woman, a child. Yeah. But then having fucking belligerent people that, and he's OCD. Like he has no right being a good. Like you way outdid yourself in the charter business.
Popcorn and potato chips on the floor.
Oh yeah,
It ain't happening.
Dude, how about fishing Katoom Rocks or Wacho with wire out? 2 guys trying to tell them to move change the position of the wire when you're doing that because eventually it's going to snap off. Mike with his head out the back, the slider window like this. 40 feet. All right. All right. 8 feet. Ron Katoom. Snap. What the fuck? You know, I'm like, fucking, what do you mean, what the fuck? Dude, I'm like, I can't fucking break. I'm fucking a nice guy. So I'm like, listen, you gotta fucking, I can't stress anymore. See what, he'll go nuts. You gotta fucking change the position of the wire. It's gonna snap. Fucking, I know it's only a $10 lure, but it doesn't matter. It's the point. Like, you know, and
$30 a wire.
Fucking guys, fucking, you know, snap and like fucking lavender spray. Fucking, it should come out like Halon in a fucking engine room. That's what you need.
Lavender misters?
Yeah, like you need for emergency. Fucking spray that and hit the button.
Oh,
because
shit.
And Mike's the type
Lavender
of guy.
misters.
Like Mike is probably, I would put you up against anybody for people catching their first fish. It doesn't matter, you know, where you're from, what color your skin. You know, if you're good with us, Mike says, I never caught a tuna. You want to go tuna fishing? Yeah. Yeah. Fucking Mike takes them and they get on a fish. Yep. You know, and he's just, but for a charter guy, he's a fucking nightmare. I'm like, and I want to be the best mate.
I don't think he's helping your charter business.
No, he's great because despite all that, he's booked up because he's a fishy fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The passion's there.
And he's a great guy. Yeah, and whoever the mate would be taking it. So it's not like they're getting it. You know,
it doesn't matter.
And chartering's one of those things too. It's like we fish with guys that are like on that end of the spectrum, and we fish with guys that are super lackadaisical. It's all what fits you. You know, it's all what fits the client.
Imagine having a beautiful car. You know. And then having a bunch of kids with fucking crackers, fucking and chocolate jump around it and try to be nice and fucking he's going way out of his way to be as nice as he can. He's one fucking stupid thing from like going nuclear, you know. And thank God the char's over. You know, I always like, listen, Mike, I want to fucking be the best you've ever had, you know? And he's, listen, the most, not underrated, but like there's some great fishermen that fish with Mike. Nick Manga. That guy is probably one of the fishiest cats out there. Soup, you know, these are guys with knowledge, you know, young guys that are really great fishermen and great guys. Yeah. But, you know, I'm like, you got to start cleaning. I go, I can clean. I've been fucking cleaning fish forever. I'll clean them. Try the boat. Never. It doesn't matter. Like he won't ever let you clean fish. Yeah. He wants to do it. He just put on the rubber, put on the music. Fucking let's go. Nice 7 knots in. You know. So
and I clean the boat.
Yeah. And that's another thing too with Mike. Like, there's nothing that he went to, you know.
I don't ask anybody to do anything.
Stay with him, right. And I've been in every square inch. I've been in the engine room. I've been in Cape Cod when that turbo blew, and, you know, and I didn't go nowhere. I stayed down there, and, you know,
to have people, that's another thing. You know, everybody, you have a lot of people that want to fish all year long. Oh, you got to take me fishing. Then the time comes. You know, then there's every excuse in the world. I can't go fishing. So that name kind of just, you know, don't tell me you want to go, and then, you know, and then you find people like Nick or Soup, you know, Danny, that come along, and it's like you know you're not going to have them forever. You know, if they're any good at what they're doing, then they're going to want to do it on their own. And I never had anybody to, you know, except for that first time I went, which is kind of a fluke anyway. I never had anybody to take me under their wing, and so everywhere I went, you know, from day one was bass fishing. I always watched the guys that were good and paid attention, but I had to learn the whole thing virtually, you know, on your own, you know. Yeah. So there's a deep appreciation, but also for the people that you could help and teach. It's not just the fishing; it's, you know, keeping that boat, like the places that we were going. Sometimes, you know,
it's
you can't afford to have the thing break down.
Cutting up flats of butters at fucking 2 a.m. So when you
just
get
being
out there,
prepared,
it's like always being one step ahead, or simplifying something, you know. But there's only one, like Palm Beach. I used to say Palm Beach, Dan, and then, you know, I'd take pride in it. You know, I would fucking anything. You know,
boats got like 12,000, almost. Well, I got 5,375. So like, you know, close to 13,000 hours on it. Wow. You know, second motor, second generator, second AC. And I don't even fish that much now. Last year,
like, we never make reservations at marinas. Like, we had the old oil pad and fucking half a quart of Valvoline in case anyone asks me have motor problems. Fucking genius, man. You know, because somebody's like, ready to go fucking first time, right? What, you ready to go down fucking want cheese? I'm like, fucking, let's rock and roll. You know that, you know? Fucking, we go to Cape May, get some fuel. We pull in somewhere, fucking into like some swamp in the middle of the thing, you know. And
the Dismal Swamp.
We fucking pull in, fucking rips it in, tie it off, fucking spring it. Fucking, this is where we are. Yeah, where are we? Fucking, I don't know. It's like, do me a little favor. You know, we always wash the boat down, but he's like, there's a 3M rag and a little oil out there. If someone comes by, we're having in trouble. I'm like, fucking, my man. That was like fucking
perfect. There's a hint of Weber there.
We slid in a lot.
We were gypsies, like gypsies coming back. And that was the year that Nick had his boat, Sophia Marie.
The little one.
Yeah, the little one. And I jumped on with him to get bait. Yeah, and then I know we got tight right away, and he got like 3 bites, and, you know, he was figuring out his tackle. Yeah. You know how that is.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, like he finally got his first.
That was a Gloucester.
There was like a bunch of.
He went like a bunch of days, like
getting bit, but just
not hooking them. Yeah, just
weird. Dude, that's where you guys saw like the devil's in the detail. Like me and Junior on Tough Guy. Like, we have Zach's custom rods, we have our 130s, we have an exact pressure we use, we have exact leaders that we you know, crimp it the same way. Yep. It's the exact same thing all the time, and we didn't fight a fish past 35 minutes last year. You know. Yeah. I mean, absolute fucking cranes that kid makes. Yeah. You know, it is such a big difference. And we went through the year before that, because I came off Mike's boat. eventually I'm walking by Tough Guy every day, and Mike knew him. Like, dude, I'm
I said,
I'm sticking with you with the charter season.
Danny
but
can hit a sandwich at the Tough Guy.
I can only fucking say
he's gone. As soon as they ask him to go, that's the end of it.
No, but Mike knew. I'm like, Mike, he's like, absolutely. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
So
every little group, same up here. We have mates, guys like you that jump on this boat for a bit, and you always know that they have a home back with you, and they make their way back. It's just the way it rolls.
It's great seeing him out there, and he knows that I brought some of the things that you taught me onto that boat to tighten, and not that they weren't tightened up already, but being able to fish with your best friends in a fishery like this, is fucking humbling.
It really is.
I'm fucking from Somerville. Yeah, I had nothing. Grew up 1970, fucking drunks, bank robbers, animals. Yeah. I'd go to Cape Cod. I'd go to Cape Cod. We'd take the Greyhound bus there, and I would see these boats coming through the Cape Cod Canal, and I was hooked on fishing already from back in my mother dropping me off of the bridge in Everett. When I saw the Chinese guy, that's a different story. Anyway, what I'm saying is, it's Mike. Remember, we came through. I think I was naked. I just said, "Fuck it." It's like because it was full circle, dude. I used to look at boats coming through the Cape Cod Canal and say, "That's like going to the moon for a guy like me."
Yeah.
And then fucking full circle. I'm fucking going through the Cape Cod Canal with a fucking giant, and Mike looks out the window. I was fucking just let it go, man. I was fucking butt naked. Remember, I was flicking around like a little.
I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? So speaking of butt naked, Dougie Hittinger, right?
Speaking of butt,
I don't know him. I've heard the name though.
Yeah, Dougie fished with Paul and the Wicked Pisser, the big kid.
Oh yeah.
That's Duffy. He's got a Duffy. He's got a little. He's got a 35 Duffy now.
He fished down Outer Banks with us, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the story I'm getting to. So he comes down. We meet at my house. We leave from my house. We go to the boat in Wanchese, and we're coming out. It's like the sun's coming up, and I'm like, I knew Dougie's father and his brother and his uncle from Ipswich Bay days. back they had a Birch 31 Bertram. They'd always be out there all the time, and Dougie was probably not even born yet. But so I look out the back. We got the rods. I look out the back. Dougie's on top of my box, totally fucking nude, like this, with his arms up in the air, like. I'm like, dude, what are you out of your? What's wrong with you? The guys are going by the other way on the boats. This guy. What's up with this guy in the Destiny? Totally naked, like this.
It's a good story. All right, we're leaving from Captain Scott's to go to the canyons. Got a weather window. Fucking fish are chewing. Right. Anthony comes down. He has this like an extender. Like this guy is fucking sober. He's a great friend of mine.
We're all sober. We're all
I guess
30 plus years of not drinking.
He's just very he's nuts. That's all there is to it. Anyway, where you going? Oh, Mike's gonna be there. Yeah. Come down and say hi. He lives in Wesley. Anyway, he comes. He's got this thing. He calls it the extender. Big rubber dick they put on the head of your dick to extend it. Cut. Yeah. So listen. So he comes and he's talking to him, right?
We might bleep
pieces of it. And Anthony pulls his sweatshirt up, and the thing's hanging out there, right? He's like, "Yeah, so you guys going fishing?" Mike, anyway, Anthony took it. I guess
we leave the slip, and Anthony
leave the slip, and he left it on your ice box.
Oh yeah.
Mike takes the thing. He's like, "Get that fucking thing off my boat." He throws the thing out, right? Bluebird weekend, fucking load up on the fucking
1,000 people coming to the marina for lunch.
Captain Scott is fucking jammed to the gill.
Right.
Fucking, she comes running in. Did you hear what happened this morning? Did you hear what happened this afternoon? You look at this picture, you won't believe it. They show Scott with like rubber gloves on and shit, and grabbing some floating fucking out in front of where the customers eat fucking all day. I'm like, fucking, that's the extender. Fucking, we know that. Dude, I don't know how these things end up on your boat. Last year we were with the Patriots, right? So
you got
Maddie.
Fans?
Yes.
Maddie's buddies with he's a professional athlete.
Yeah.
However, Dan,
Relax, bro.
Dan, we're going. We're going to take Steve out and all the linebackers fishing. Can you get we'll take Tough Guy and what do you think? I was like, call Deskin for sure. Fucking, you kidding me? Mike, you right? Yeah, fucking, we're in. They come up. Tough guy was down. We had a problem. So Dean
and I, yeah.
Yeah, Dean. So they went out with Dean, bunch of linebackers, Steve Belichick. I went out with Mike.
Yeah.
Bunch of linebackers, fucking 6'4" cats. Cool as heck, you know.
Never been on a boat before.
Yeah.
No way, really?
Yeah, some of them are from like.
Guy threw up all over the side of the boat.
Oh, yeah. Fucking
Midwest.
It was perfectly calm. The guy,
Puke everywhere.
dude, you all right?
Puke everywhere. The bass fishing, we go to Block. The bass fishing is phenomenal. You know, there's a couple guys that are standing
on
it.
one umbrella rig.
No shit.
Yeah.
250-pound bass at once. Took him like
insane.
Right.
35 minutes to reel in.
Right. So we're having a blast out there at Block, you know, getting ready to go to the island for lunch, you know. Back up our boat, the Dean's boat.
Before we leave that morning, I get on the boat.
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah.
So I get on the boat and I go to reach for my keys and to open the door, and I turn around and this black, this big stick is stuck to the back of my.
It's got a suction cup.
I think I've heard a bit of this story.
Suction cup to my door, hits me in the side of the head. I'm like it's
And I
dark
didn't
on the
do
boat.
it.
I'm like, what the fuck is this, right? So I'm thinking of all the people that could possibly do it, and I call them all. I'm like, what the dude? What's up with this thing you're putting on my boat? None of them. I swear to God, it wasn't me. So my buddy,
I took it when I saw it in the morning, you know, because I'm at Snug. Mike
put it in
came
his
up
bag
right up.
downstairs.
I'm like, ooh, fucking, let me see this fucking thing. I put it in my bag. So we're backing up. You guys having fun? Yeah. So Steve Belichick's there.
They're all in the dock.
I go on my bag. Yeah, all the guys are back. No, that was at the end coming in. This is when we're on the water. We're, you know, stern to stern.
Oh, yeah.
I go down to get the thing. I go, Steve, I don't know which one of you sick motherfuckers fucking guys brought this on the boat, but it fell out of one of your linebackers' bags. He's like, they were fucking loving it. They were loving it. And so then when we were backing in, you know, Jackie and, you know, Jimmy Noon and all them guys and a couple kids and whatever, you know, they know the Patriots are on this boat, you know, fucking they're huge, you know. And so we're backing in. And I told Jackie, I'm like, Jackie, videotape us coming in. So I took that thing and went right on the stern. So the thing turning off, and we was backing in, and everyone's waving. You know, the Patriots guys have no idea. Fucking 12-inch plastic dong hanging off the back of Mike's boat. Jackie has it on video. It's fucking great.
I think that's how I heard the story. I think like Smalley or someone sent me that clip of you guys backing in.
That's like a viral thing now. I think I've been doing at least twice.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Probably from you guys. Probably started from you guys.
My dad got bumper stickered by a buddy in our marina. He drove around with it for like 3 weeks. It was, I'm not gay, but $20 is $20.
That's great.
It's for like fucking 2 weeks he was driving around.
Yeah.
Truck.
Yeah.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Boys, I could go forever. I know you guys could
know.
go forever. This was fucking awesome. I just want to say thank you guys for coming.
Yeah.
Dan, Mike.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Wealth of knowledge. Like I said, we've been following you since we were just getting into this game. We know your boats inside and out, which I know you don't know.
Thank you very much.
But no, we really appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming down. This was the hardest I've laughed in a long time. So
Thanks for having us.
really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's
Goes
good.
by quick.
So we'll end this on our dad's 3 words of fishing wisdom. Remember, you can't catch them if you don't have a hook in the water. Always trust your instincts. And the last one, you'll have to keep listening. Stay tight, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in to the SeaBros Fishing Podcast. If you would like more information about today's guest, our episode, and show sponsors, or if you want to order hats and apparel, please visit our website at SeaBrosFishing.com. You can also stay up to date on all the latest SeaBros Fishing content and podcast episodes by following us on Instagram at SeaBros Fishing. Finally, to book a trip with us through our family-run charter fishing company, please visit massbayguides.com or see our latest updates and fishing reports by following Mass Bay Guides on Instagram and Facebook.